Pilipinas of the South!
I'm your Tita
And
Trish.
this is me, Tita April. Magandang hapon, Pilipinas.
Kia ora, New Zealand. Kung kayo po ay bago sa aming channel, maraming salamat po sa pagsubaybay. Huwag niyo pong kakalimutan na i-subscribe, i-click ang notification bell para lagi po kayong updated sa mga live streams at vlogs ng Tita.
So ngayon, ang topic po natin ay distance learning ngayong pandemic.
Pass
Pass
or
or
fail?
fail?
Kung kayo po ay nakasubaybay sa aming mga previous live streams, nag-focus po kami sa pandemic. Hindi lang po yung mga businesses na affected ng pandemic ang ating tatalakayin ngayon. So today, ito yung mga taong malalapit
Sa
sa ating
ating mga...
sa ating buhay at pati na rin po sa mga estudyante. Kaya nais po namin i-dedicate ang segment na ito sa aming mga teachers, elementary, high school, pati na rin sa college at sa
Sa lahat
post-grad.
ng namumuno ng pampubliko at pribadong paaralan. So ngayon na tayo ay may kinakaharap na pandemya, lahat ng aspeto ng buhay natin ay nagbago. Ang isa sa mga lubhang naapektuhan ay ang edukasyon.
Tama.
So marahil marami sa atin, mga magulang, guro, estudyante, pamunuan ng pribado at pampublikong paaralan, ang patuloy na nag-iisip kung magiging matagumpay ang pagpapatupad ng mga iba't ibang paraan ng pag-aaral ngayon sa Pilipinas. Napapaisip ang mga mamamayan, paano na ang pag-aaral ng mga bata sa pasukan, lalo na ang mga nasa pampublikong paaralan.
Oo, lalo na bukas. Kung hindi po ako nagkakamali, bukas na magsisimula sa ating mga pampublikong paaralan. Although, nung mga makaraang linggo ay nagsimula na sa mga pribadong paaralan.
Yes. So, sa mga mag-aaral na nasa pribadong eskwelahan, ano ang pagsubok na kinakaharap nila ngayon nung nagsimula na ang mga klase? At sa pampublikong paaralan naman, may ano ba ang plano ng Department of Education? So, lahat ba sa kanila ay may kapasidad para mag-online learning, pambili ng laptop, tuition fee, at internet?
Mhm.
Kung hindi nila kaya ito, ano ang alternatibo upang mapatuloy nila ang kanilang pag-aaral? Kamustahin natin ang epekto ng ganitong setup sa kanilang mental na pangkalusugan. So, meron din tayong naimbitahan na guidance counselor.
Yes, kasi po kung hindi niyo po alam, dun po sa mga bago sa aming channel, kami po ni Tita April ay nandito sa New Zealand at napakahalagang talakayin po ang mental health dito sa New Zealand. Actually, kung kailangan mo ngang mag-absent dahil hindi maganda ang iyong pakiramdam or yung nararamdaman kung nai-stress
Towards
ka,
sa iyong
o
trabaho.
napakadali mong sabihin na hindi ako papasok kasi hindi maganda yung ano ko ngayon sa buhay, ay yung outlook ko, nai-stress ako. So, yun, dito pwede mong sabihin agad yun diretso sa boss mo at sila pa ang magsasabi sa'yo na magpahinga ka.
So, they call it mental health day for you.
Yes. So, gusto rin nating stress yan para sa ating mga teachers, mga estudyante at mga magulang na mahalaga rin po ang mental health.
Yes. So, iyan ang mga ilang issue na tatalakayin natin ngayong araw na ito. So, ngayon, upang sagutin ang mga katanungan na iyan, aming inanyayahan ang pamunuan ng PEAC, mga guro na nagre-representa sa pribado at pampubliko na paaralan, guidance counselor, at
At mga magulang. So, meron tayong parent na mag-share, isang mom na mag-share din ng kanyang mga
karanasan.
naobserbahan. Yes,
Oo.
karanasan. Meron siyang 2 anak. So, later on, i-introduce natin sila. So, medyo serious po itong topic na ito. So, hindi muna tayo mag-joke. Kailangan maiparating natin sa lahat at sa mga nanunood kung ano yung purpose ng aming live stream today. Kasi very dear sa atin ng mga teachers, especially kay Tita April.
Yes, ang
Yes,
aking
kasi
nanay po ay isang guro at siya po ay
yan.
matinding naapektuhan ngayong pandemya dahil unang-una hanggang ngayon, siya rin po ay nagtatrabaho bilang tutor.
So kahit may edad na si Mami,
Gusto pa rin
hindi
niya.
siya tumitigil magturo eh. So nag-tutor pa rin siya. So nung nagkaroon ng pandemic, automatic nawala ng work si Mami.
Yes. So now, simulan po natin. Okay, now we have someone from a private institution. Okay, she has headed private institutions on student affairs roles. She is also a former executive director of Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines, and now she is the executive director of the Private Education Assistance Committee for more than 5 years. So we welcome Miss Doris Fernandez Ferrer. Hi, Miss Doris. Kamusta po?
Buti naman, magandang hapon sa inyo from Manila.
Magandang hapon. Ayan. So, babalikan po namin kayo. I-introduce po namin ang susunod na
Mhm.
panauhin. Okay. So,
Sige, maraming
now,
salamat.
salamat po. So, now we have someone from a private institution or school na ating panauhin. She is one of the external trainers of Knowledge Channel. And she's also a trainer for public school teachers, principals, and supervisors on lesson study, standards-based instructional planning, and peer walkthrough in the National Capital Region and Region 2. And currently the principal of Everest Academy, Manila. So let us call on.
Miss Maria Lourdes Neri Cura.
Hi, Miss Neri Cura. Or should I say, Miss Cura. Kamusta po? I think you are on mute po.
Unmute myself. Hello. Hi,
Hi.
Trish. Hi, April.
Hi,
Magandang
kamusta po?
hapon. Mabuti
Magandang
naman.
hapon. Welcome to Tito
Magandang
of the South.
hapon mula
Yes.
sa Manila.
Yes. So, ayan. So, dalawa na sila. And ang ating susunod naman ngayon.
At galing naman sa ating public school representative, papakalala natin ang ating mga panauhan. So he is panauhin. He is currently a focal person of special program in science, technology, and engineering, as well as a master school teacher of Camp Tino National High School, DepEd Cabanatuan. May we call on Mr. Jepsy Corpus.
Hi, good morning po. I'm sorry, good afternoon po. Good afternoon po. Good afternoon po.
Magandang hapon
Good
po.
afternoon po sa ating mga viewers. Yes po.
Yes. So, ayan. So, si Sir Gypsy ay from Camp Tino
Yes po.
National High School. Yes. Okay. So, Sir Gypsy will be back and will introduce
Yes,
our
ma'am.
next speaker.
At galing naman po sa lalawigan ng Laguna, siya po ay isang teacher 2 ng Dr. Marcelino Z. Batista Memorial Elementary School. Ito po ay si Mrs. Arlene Velasco, isang public school teacher.
Hi, Miss Arlene. Kamusta po? Nakamute po kaya kayo? Yes.
Po,
Ayan.
magandang hapon po from Binyan, Laguna.
Okay.
Welcome
Mabuhay
po.
ang mga taga-Binyan. Ako po ay taga-Binyan din. So, ayan.
Ito naman, at ipakilala natin ang isa sa ating magiging resource person ngayong live stream. Ito, very happy ako to announce. Shout out sa mga kaklase ko sa Apolonio Samson Elementary School and sa Sergio Osmeña Senior High School, ang aking classmate. She is a guidance counselor from Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila. Hello sa'yo, Miss Venus, this again.
Hello! Good afternoon. Thank
Magandang
you
hapon.
sa invite. Magandang hapon.
Welcome to
Thank
Titos
you.
of the South.
Yes.
Yan. And last but not the least, very dear din sa akin itong ating last guest. Not because she is a friend of mine, pero para sa akin, napaka okay niya rin as a resource person kasi she's not only just a mom, she's been working from home for a couple of years now, and she also has an education major.
Yes.
So, hindi lang basta-basta mommy yung i-invite natin. She has a background in education, and I'm pretty sure she really knows what she's talking about with regards about this topic.
Yes.
So let's call on a friend of mine, Miss Jenny Ramos.
Hello,
Hi,
good
Jenny. How are
afternoon.
you?
I'm doing good. Hello, Trish. Hi, April.
Hello, Jen.
Welcome to Titos of the South. Salamat sa inyong
Thank you.
pagpunta sa aming imbitasyon.
Yes.
Ayan. So we'll get back to you and we'll start the program now. So katulad ng nabanggit natin kanina, ang pag-uusapan natin ngayong araw na ito ay patungkol sa edukasyon. Talakayin natin ang edukasyon sa Pilipinas ngayong pandemic. The gap between the rich and the poor is glaringly apparent. So nakikita at masyadong obvious na ito eh. So now more than ever, especially sa edukasyon. Pag-uusapan din natin ang kalidad ng edukasyon between private and public schools with the upcoming start of classes. Lalo na magsa-start na yung mga classes sa public school.
Yes.
So, bukas na yon.
Yeah. At sa
Yes.
pagbubukas ng klase, lalo na bukas, ano nga ba expectations ng mga magulang at ng mga estudyante? So, alam namin ni Tita April na napakalawak ng topic na ito at ang oras na meron kami ngayong araw ay hindi enough para ma-discuss lahat ng mga issues, expectations, at kung ano pa ang pwede nating expect in the future. Pero, we will try to squeeze in these informations para naman mabigyan kayo ng update at information para na galing mismo sa ating mga resource person.
Yes. So, uunahin natin. Ang una sa topic natin ay mga paraan ng pag-aaral na inilunsad. So, ito yung tinatawag nilang mga modalities. So, yan ang term na ginagamit nila ngayon. At ang unang speaker na maglalahad nito, una sa lahat, gusto natin simulan ng unang katanungan kay Mrs. Ferrer upang maintindihan ang papel ng PEAC.
So, marami sa atin na nagtatanong ano kaya ang organisasyon na ito. So, under ito ng DepEd, pero napakahalaga rin ng kanilang role para sa pangyayari ngayon, lalo na sa distance learning.
Yes. So, may we call on Miss Doris Fernandez Ferrer. Hi, Miss Doris. How are
Hi.
you?
Hi, Tita April and Tita Trish. Tama ba?
Yes, opo.
Nakatitas no? Sige. Pwede na ba akong sumagot ng mga
Yes,
tinanong?
salamat po sa pagtanggap ng aming imbitasyon sa Titas of the South Real Talk Livestream. So, ang unang katanungan, ano ang papel ng PEAC o ng Private Education Assistance Committee? Ano ang papel nito sa pribado at pampublikong paaralan?
Oo. Siguro para mailinaw natin, no, yung PAC ay hindi under the Department of Education. So, ito ay isang pribadong organisasyon na itinatag upang suportahan ang mga private schools sa Pilipinas. So, more than 50 years ago na ito na itatag. And ang pinakamahalaga ngayon na nagiging papel ng PAC ay tulungan ang Department of Education para i-implement yung mga programang pangsuporta sa private schools. Marami siguro hindi nakakaalam na more than 1 million ang grantees na binibigyan ng DepEd ng suporta sa junior high school, no, grade 7 to 10. Nung nag-umpisa ang senior high school, nagbibigay din ng DepEd ng voucher sa mga estudyante at senior high school, so mahigit 1 million din yan. Itong subsidy programs na to, ang PAC ang nag-implement at tumutulong sa Department of Education. Bakit mahalaga, no, nagkakaroon ng ganitong klaseng pagtulong, no, ang private schools sa public schools? Alam naman natin, no, kung gaano kalaki ang public school system at there was a time talagang mataas ang congestion. Kumbaga, ang laki ng class size, wala silang classrooms. Nung nag-start ang senior high school, grades 11 and 12, dahil nag-K-12 tayo, mahirapan, no, ang DepEd na magkaroon ng immediately, no, classrooms, teachers, etc. So yung pagtulong ng private ay isang paraan ng public-private partnership in education. So PPP ito. At magandang modelo ito, even the World Bank has already said magandang modelo ang ginagawa ng Pilipinas. Ngayon, having said that, dahil sinusuportahan, no, ng PAC ang DepEd para magkaroon ng provision sa mga estudyante na gustong mag-aral sa private school pero kailangan bigyan ng suporta, no, ng public school system or ng DepEd o ng gobyerno o ng taxpayers' money, kailangan siguraduhin, no, ng PAC na ang mga eskwelahan na nagpa-participate sa programa na ito ay nagbibigay ng edukasyon na dekalidad. Kasi sabi nga natin, tapo na pera yan kapag hindi maayos ang provision na binibigay ng mga eskwelahan at ang nagbabayad ay gobyerno. Pero anong problema natin ngayon, no? Given that ito ang modelo, no, ng public-private partnership. Ngayong taon na to, sobrang hirap ng sitwasyon sa Pilipinas. Hindi pa nagbubukas ang public school. Kailangan dati August 24, no? Hindi kinaya dahil nga sa dami ng kailangan ayusin. Ngayon October 5 ang bukas, which is tomorrow. Pero tinitingnan natin ang enrollment figures, no, as of September 30, ito galing sa DepEd, wala pang 90% sa mga estudyante last year ang naka-enroll this year. So may mga estudyante, 10% ang nawawala, hindi nag-enroll. Ang suspicion namin, nag-opt out. Hindi muna papasok ngayong taon dahil hindi nila kaya ang ganitong klaseng modality, no? Kung online distance, offline distance modular, baka hindi kakayanin, no? So baka naging ganun ang desisyon. Or economic downturn, no? Talagang may problema ang mga pamilya sa panggastos, kaya siguro ang give up muna ay yung pag-aaral. Now, dun sa mga 90% na yan na naka-enroll lang, 2 milyon lang dyan ang nasa private school. Ang private school, sobrang laki ng nawawala sa kanila. Meaning, ang public school system, almost 99% ng estudyante nila last year nakapag-enroll na. Sa private school, 50% pa lang ang bumabalik. So anong ibig sabihin yan? So kung kanina yung pangkalahatan natin, sabi natin 90% nag-enroll na, yun pala, marami doon nasa public. Ang private school ang talagang tinamaan. Na as of now, September 30, ang enrollment ay 2 million pa lamang. Last year, 4 million yan. So medyo malaki ang problema ngayon. Pero sabi nga natin, we always want to be hopeful and we always want to just do our best in order to navigate this extraordinary circumstance kasi wala namang nakaisip na ganitong mangyayari ngayong school year 2020-21. Di ba? Nung Marso, okay pa tayo bago mag-lockdown. Akala ng lahat ng eskwelahan, business as usual. Right? And then all of a sudden, hindi pala pwede ang face-to-face. Mag-uuwian pala ang mga OFWs dahil magkakaproblema tayo, global ang effect ng pandemic, no? Yung mga teachers natin, mahirap na ma-prepare sila for the different modalities from the time of the lockdown in March hanggang sa pagbubukas ng Agosto.
So,
Diba?
malaking talaga yung impact sa atin.
Nag-domino effect kasi syempre nauna siguro yung pagpo-focus sa mga uuwing OFW kaysa
mga
mas stuck
pagsasara.
sila. Oo.
So, yun.
At syempre umasa tayo na hindi ito magtatagal ng ganito katagal. Oo.
Yun. So, update sa New Zealand, tayo ay wala na dito cases.
Yun nga po eh.
Yun,
So,
wala na po kaming cases. Lagi, sa na lang, border related, yung mga umuwi na lang. So, napaka-normal na po ng buhay. Yung nga lang, naka-online learning ang mga maraming bata dito.
At hindi po maaalis sa amin ni Tita April na minsan mainggit kasi may mga office mates din kaming mga parents and hindi namin sila nakitaan ng pag-worry kasi as soon as sikat ang class, after a few days, nagdadala na yung government ng mga
resources.
at boxes
out
per family ang pag-deploy nila. So, ganun kabilis nila napaghandaan. Yung mga at saka required sa mga estudyante din na merong computer, public man o private, kung hindi man computer, tablet. So, lagi pong naiisip ng mga tita yan na sana ganun din sa Pilipinas. Diba?
Nagkaroon pa nga po kami, Miss Doris, ng bond paper drive dahil nalaman namin sa mga teachers, lalo na sa mga probinsya like Leyte, Bukidnon, as far as Mindanao, nakarating po yung tulong namin na mga bond papers. Meron din pong nag-sponsor mula dito dahil alam nila mahirap ngayon ang paano ipapatupad yung modular.
Saka yung pinakamalungkot na nabalitaan namin is merong isang principal na kinailangang isanla or i-guarantor yung kanyang ATM kung saan pumapasok yung sweldo para makakuha siya ng pera in advance at maibili ng printer.
Yes.
So, marami pong nag-reach out sa atin ng mga public school teachers na kailangan ng tulong. At kanina lang din may nag-message sa akin ng isa ko ring kaibigan na until now, Sunday na, wala pa yatang, hindi man sana walang naumpisahan, pero hindi pa sila ganun ka-prepare for what's gonna happen tomorrow.
Okay. So,
siguro, dagdag ko lang, dun sa sinasabi nyo. Yung sinasabi ko kanina na pagdating, when March happened, at nag-lockdown ng Pilipinas, before that lockdown, akala ng lahat, business as usual nga. So, ano bang business as usual sa mga eskwelahan natin? Face-to-face. Right?
Yes.
Hindi yan online. Okay? Hindi gumagamit ng laptops or internet. Nung nag-survey kami, 20% lang ng mga private schools na na-survey namin ang may learning management systems, which means kaya nilang online, synchronous or asynchronous. 80%, akala nila in person, face to face. Akala nila may textbook sila, 'di ba? Nagagamitin. So yun ang sinasabi kong business as usual. So nung nagkaroon ng pandemic at lockdown at hindi pwede ang face to face at in person, right? Walang pambili ng textbooks. Ang teachers mo kailangan mag-develop ng sariling modules
Yes.
dahil yun ang gagamitin ng estudyante. So lahat yan, hindi tayo prepared for that. Majority of the schools are not prepared for that in March because they did not think that that is what they will do in 2020-21. Yung 20% ng mga schools na sinasabi namin na madali na nakapag-shift sa online, tulad ng mga eskwelahan sa New Zealand, kasi as of last school year, ginagamit nyo na yan. Meron na kayong, you were already doing blended, part face-to-face and then online, or you were using a lot of probably online or offline modules, pero nandun na kayo sa mga ganong klaseng modalities bago pa nag-pandemic. So isipin mo, ang mga majority sa Pilipinas, nasa face-to-face in-person na pinagbabawal na hindi pwedeng gawin dahil sa pandemya. Kaya talagang hindi handa on all fronts ang majority ng mga eskwelahan natin. Kahit ang DepEd. At kung sasabing kahit ang DepEd, hindi naman simpleng mag-download ng funds ng agad-agad para ma-produce ng mga teachers ang mga modules na gagamitin sa kanilang modality na distance modular. Actually, hindi online distance ang gagamitin ng majority of DepEd schools. Offline modular, distance modular, modules ang gagamitin. Right? Kaya nga bond paper 'di ba? Kaya nga printer ang kailangan, 'di ba? So yun ang mga kinakaharap ngayon ng mga eskwelahan at we just hope pagkatapos ng lahat ito we will be better, we'll be stronger, we will know what to do. This will test resilience, pero we will just have to do our best.
Kaugnay po dyan, Ms. Ferrer, ano ang mga paraan ng pag-aaral ngayon maliban sa online learning? Maybe kailangan po nating bigyan linaw. Ano ba yung mga ginagamit ngayon aside from modular, meron pang hybrid? Parang may nagsabi pa
May
may hybrid
asynchronous and
synchronous.
Actually, ginagamit ng DepEd na term ay flexible. No? Flexible learning. Bakit flexible? Kasi depende kung ano ang konteksto ng mga learners at ng mga teachers para ma-deliver ang curriculum. Ngayon, ano lahat yan? Pwedeng online. Yun nga lang, kailangan mo ng learning management system. Ang online, pwedeng synchronous. Yung teacher, online siya, lahat ng estudyante, online sila, para ka lang nagle-lecture in an online platform. Parang ganitong ginagawa natin. Pwede rin siyang asynchronous. Videotaped ang mga lessons. So, ang mga estudyante self-paced. Kung kailan nila papanoorin ng video, sasagutan nila yung mga assessment na sa bawat video, na the day took, a video lesson. So, yun ang online. Pwedeng synchronous, asynchronous, pwedeng combination. Pero marami nga sa mga eskwelahan, dahil wala namang learning management system, problema din ng gadget, problema din ng connectivity, ang gagamitin ay distance modular. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Kailangan ng modules, printed. Now, paano makakarating sa bata? May mga ibang eskwelahan, pupunta ang mga magulang kukunin ang printed modules every Monday at ibibigay ng Friday. Yung accomplished modules, pwede rin naman sa USB. Isi-save sa USB, iuwi sa bahay, ibabalik ang mga sagot. It becomes regular like that, no? Kung kailan mo kukunin ng modules, kailan ka magsasubmit. Meron din na sinasabi ng DepEd palagi, what if pati modules wala? Radio and TV instruction.
So,
Pero
sa lang mga yung YouTube, yung Zoom, yung
actually
yung
TV, no? So government channels ang gagamitin para magpalabas sila ng mga lessons kasi ang concern kasi ng DepEd syempre ay ma-implement yung curriculum.
okay.
Hindi naman kahit na anong mapanood mo dyan, yes, that's learning, right? I mean, you will learn from that, obviously. Pero syempre may curriculum tayo na ini-implement. So yun ang pinuput in place ng DepEd ngayon, yung radio, TV, instruction. So yan yung tatlong modalities na ginagamit online and then which can be synchronous, asynchronous, offline distance, which is mostly modular, or radio TV instruction. Now, alin ang gagamitin ng DepEd? Well, depende. Kasi dinownload nila sa regions kung alin sa mga modalities na yan ang pwedeng i-implement ng regional DepEd.
Okay.
Kasi depende rin yan eh. May mga lugar na walang connectivity talaga.
Opo.
Yes.
Totoo.
So modules yan, right? May mga lugar naman na low ang COVID incidence. So, iba-iba. Kaya nga flexible learning ang ginagamit nilang buzzword ngayon, no? Dun sa different modalities na i-adopt.
Okay po.
Pero grabe yung preparation nila from March, April, May. Parang napakaikli po talaga para mai-roll out ng Department of Education yung plano for this.
Correct. Kaya nga talagang we completely empathize, no? Dun sa trabaho na kinailangan gawin ng DepEd. In fact, ang unang lumabas dyan ay yung development ng kanilang learning continuity plan. Kasi non-negotiable that learning will have to continue despite the constraints, right? Now, anong plano? So that's the learning continuity plan. And pinagawa nila yan per DepEd region, per DepEd division, kasi kailangan aralin mo. 'Di ba? Anong konteksto ng mga estudyante mo? Anong kahandaan ng teachers mo? Ng mga magulang? So, kanya-kanyang sulatan ngayon ng learning continuity plan kasi nga hindi tayo pwedeng business as usual.
Yes.
Tama po.
Okay.
Yun naman po yung isa sa proud moments nating mga Pilipino, no? Kahit gaano po siguro kahirap or kung ano pa man pong kinakaharap nating mga problema, lagi pong nag-strive ang mga Pilipino na gumawa ng paraan. Yun nga lang po, syempre, kailangan ng suporta. So, dun nga po namin naisip ni Tita April yung bond paper drive ng mga makaraang buwan para makatulong sa kanila. So, nakaisip sila ng paraan, pero at the end of the day, may kulang. So, gamitin ko na rin po itong platform na to sa mga meron pa rin pong naitatabi or willing tumulong. Kontakin nyo pa rin po ang Titas of the South kasi may mga eskwelahan pa po tayong nangangailangan din ng tulong.
Yes. So, going to private schools, lahat po ba ng pribadong paaralan ay nagtagumpay na mailunsad yung online learning simula
sa inyong
nagsimula
opinion
sila
po?
dahil nauna po silang nagsimula ng klase?
Yeah, huwag natin gagamitin ng online, online learning. Kasi nga, yung iba walang online. Hindi naka-online. Naka-distance modular. Yes, distance modular sila. Or it's an offline delivery. No? Kasi nga, walang gadget ang bata, walang connectivity, walang LMS no, na pwedeng gamitin. At hindi handa ang teachers na gawin yun. Kasi hindi naman din ganun ka simple no nung sa survey nga na ginawa ng PAC, the readiness of the teachers it's at a low readiness, which means kailangan pa nila ng training para makapag-implement sila no ng ganit at magamit nila ang iba-ibang modalities na ito. Pero yun na nga, nag-umpisa na ang private. Some yung mga may online platforms, LMS, in July nga nakapag-umpisa na eh. Kasi sabi ko nga, kung dati ginagamit mo na siya in 1920 or even earlier than school year 1920, madali lang yan. Right? Pero kung hindi mo siya ginagamit in the past, hindi ka agad-agad makakapag-migrate sa online distance learning. Mas malamang mag-uumpisa ka sa modular. And then supported by some, emailing the student, calling the students. In fact, they use everything, no, Messenger. They use, Viber, phones, Facebook, correct. Kasi pero ang basis nila is a module, 'di ba? Para nga magkaroon ng plano kung paano talaga yung ma-deliver nga no yung most essential learning competencies no ginagamit ng DepEd ngayon. So ganoon, nagta-try ang mga private schools na ang resulta hindi natin alam, no? Wala pang assessment. Meaning, kahit first quarter, hindi pa yan nagkakaroon ng assessment. Pero sa pagkakaalam natin sa mga nakapag-implement in July, dahil nga meron silang online platform, nagbibigay sila ng summative performance-based assessment. Okay. Para kasi nga hindi na medyo mahirap din no na usapin ngayon ang assessment Dahil kung ang mga magulang ay kasama ng mga bata, no, during the facilitation of the learning, kailangan sigurado tayo na ang gumagawa ng lahat ng mga worksheets at lahat ng mga performance task ay yung bata.
Tama po.
Minsan nga po, yung mga magulang nafu-frustrate dahil parang sila po yung nag-aaral. Dahil uupo yung anak,
Siyempre, kailangan
gagabayan.
ng guidance. At I think meron din po mga nagsabi na kailangan may parent katabi ng bata habang nag-aaral para meron nag-guide sa kanila, nag-show around kung ano yung mga dapat gawin, which is very challenging din po sa mga full-time moms. At lalo na po sa may mga
May
dalawa
trabaho.
or tatlong anak,
Na
lalo
sila
na
lang
sa may
ang
trabaho.
nag-supervise.
Oh, lalo na the lower levels, no? Siguro K to 6. Kasi ang online, isa pa to may mga research naman na ginawa na about this. For it to be successful, kailangan yung learner mo is self-regulated. Sa sarili niya, kaya niyang mag-aral, kaya niyang magbasa, kaya niyang sumagot, self-regulated and independent learner. Now, at what level na nagiging ganun ang bata? Hindi yan at K to 6. No, usually ano yan, no? 7, 8, ano pa yan? 9, 10, 11, 12, no? In fact, yung isang university na naggumamit no ng isang virtual platform for the longest time. Ang sinasabi niya, ang success niya ay nasa mga graduate school students na. Kasi this is independent learning if it's an online platform. Right? Now, aside from that, may isa ka pang concern reading comprehension. May mga modules nga, reading comprehension, naintindihan ba ng mga bata ang binabasa nila?
Correct. Iba kasi talaga pag kaharap mo yung bata, nakikita mo yung matututukan ba yung bawat bata na nag-aaral.
Yeah, tsaka based na rin sa experience ko doing the postgrad. Ganun po talaga yung ginagawa. May mga times pa nga na imi-meet lang kayo ng teacher, magbibigay ng instructions, magbibigay ng website, ito na yung gagawin nyo. Kasi nga, graduate students na kayo and alam nyo na kung paano magsisimula.
Mag-navigate.
Oo. And you have the maturity, no? You have the maturity, right, to own the learning. Meaning, kaya ako nag-aaral kasi gusto kong matuto. Now, at what age, 'di ba? Or at what developmental stage do you have learners, no, at this level? Would the learners be at this level? Hindi K to 6 yan.
Okay. So, thank you po sa inyong insights. And now, going to our second speaker, lalo natin mahahati yung kung kaibahan ng public at private. So, we'll be going to our next speaker, to Miss Neri Cura. Thank you, Miss Doris Fernandez Ferrer.
Kung available pa po kayo mamaya, sana po makabalik pa po kayo.
Ayun. Sige po, we're going to our next speaker right now. So, kamustahin natin ang sitwasyon ng mga pribadong paaralan. Para sa kaalaman ng lahat, ang mga pribadong paaralan ay nagsimula na at kasalukuyang gumagamit ng flexible learning.
Yun, tama.
Okay.
Sabi kayo
Tama na
ng
natin ng term. So, we would like to welcome Miss Malu Neri Cura, who will be joining us today. Hi, Miss Malu.
Hello. Hi again, April and Trish, mga titas of the South. Thank you for the
so
invitation.
So, ang una po nating question, sa inyong eskwelahan po, paano ang sistema o paraan ng pag-aaral ang ginagamit ninyo sa Everest Academy Manila?
Parang kung ako po, siguro po ako ay isang parent, ano po yung siguro overview na pwede nyo pong maibigay sa amin?
Okay. In Everest Academy Manila, our school calendar technically begins August and it ends in May. So what happened to us in school year 2019-2020 was that when we experienced the lockdown, we were closing our third quarter. And we thought that it would just be a class suspension for a few days. And then it extended until the entire fourth quarter. So we really navigated unfamiliar territory for us. No? So the entire fourth quarter was already dedicated to purely online distance learning. That is the modality that we have experienced as early as the fourth quarter. And I think that was a blessing in disguise for us because we started to see the challenges of online distance learning together with the challenges with the students, the parents, and most especially our teachers. And we really salute our teachers so as we end the National Teachers Month. We salute them really for their dedication because migrating from face to face to a purely online distance learning modality was not an easy task. And we have to support them in terms of, of that transition. So, because again of the learnings that we've had in the fourth quarter, the first quarter of this school year so far has been doing we've been doing very well. Of course, we already incorporated all the refinements coming from our learnings in the fourth quarter, and what we did, of course, in all the schools, no, for especially for the private institutions, majority offered the online distance learning as their modality. So we had to package it in such a way that it's able to retain the Everest image. So what we did was to call our online distance learning program as our life or remote learning of integral formation in Everest because that is our model of education.
Okay.
So, sa inyo pong opinion, Miss Malu, gaano po kahanda ang inyong private school or ang inyong pong eskwelahan
Sa bagay.
sa mga bagong paraan or sistema ng pag-aaral ngayon? Masasabi niyo po bang 100, 70, 80 sa inyo pong opinion, ma'am?
I think it's very difficult to quantify, no, our level of readiness, not in terms of percentage, but I guess in terms of the manner by which that we deliver the curriculum. And what is more important is actually striking that balance between learning and also the mental health of the students and also our teachers. We continue to navigate our learning curve. Even if we have already experienced blended learning, as early as 2016, we already launched our Google Classroom. So our teachers and our students have been very familiar with it. It's the younger learners are the ones that are, we do recognize that there are challenges. But what we did to ease that anxiety, no, most especially coming from the parents. So we tried to build also the confidence of our parents. We prepared the how to do videos. So that even our students, even with the younger ones, they know how to navigate several platforms and several apps as well. So again, we continue to learn, we continue to relearn, and we continue to unlearn.
So parang everyday
May
is a
bago.
learning curve.
May bago, yes. Oo, may bago talaga kasi hindi ang akala kasi ng mga teachers, akala din ng mga magulang na ang face-to-face classroom pwede mo yang i-shift immediately to online, no? But we would like to change that misconception because a face-to-face engagement is very, very different from an online engagement. Miski may screen nakatapat dyan may barrier ka. And you really have to be creative to ensure that you're able to sustain the interest of the students. Kaya lalo-lalo na sa mga younger learners, no, importante dyan yung meron kang breaks in between the blocks. Even with our middle school and our high school students, which who are more self-regulated and self-paced, we have to take that into consideration when we planned the class program for the entire first semester.
So sa mga nanonood na parents, sana po napakinggan nyo rin yung sinasabi ni Miss Malu na hindi po ito napakadaling sitwasyon na siguro kasi iniisip ko, like for me ma'am, ako po ang nagpapaaral sa pamangkin ko. Siguro dahil alam ko na may kamahalan kumpara sa public school. Pero siguro di natin may iwasan na may mga ibang parents na mag-iisip na, oh, nagbayad ako ng ganito kamahal. Bakit kailangan ko pang tabihan yung anak ko? Pero kung siguro nga yung anak mo ay 5, 6, 7 years old at bago sa computer, syempre kailangan din nila ng guidance. So sana ang
Correct.
mga
Oo.
nanonood,
Kasama yun sa pag-educate, no? Because when a student enrolls in a school, it's not only the student who is enrolled. Technically, the entire family, most especially the parents, are also enrolled in school, no? And we do recognize that anxiety because just imagine converting your home space into a learning space. And it's very challenging for the student not to get tempted that the bed is just near, the TV is very accessible, and of course there are several channels or even apps that they can navigate simultaneous when they are learning. But these are the basic guidelines that we really help our that we articulated to our parents, because we said in an online distance learning program, the parent has a role to perform. The students also have the roles to perform, and also from our end, no, from our the teachers and also the administrators.
Opo. Totoo po yan. Kasi po ako kahit nandito ako, malayo ako, since ako po yung nagpapaaral sa pamangkin ko, I have to know and see kung ano yung sitwasyon. So,
Correct.
nakaka-proud din po sa kapatid ko at sa aking brother-in-law na kahit ako yung nagpapaaral, they make sure na komportable po yung pamangkin ko. Binila nila ng upuan, binila nila ng lamesa.
Table.
Meron na siyang
Yes.
special area for school ngayon. Kasi dati namin, uwi mo ng bahay, assignments, and dumating na po sa punto na we have to cancel his tutor kahit po kapitbahay lang namin within our zone. I have to step in, nag-zoom kami kasi kailangan ko siyang i-navigate kasi yung sister ko kailangan din magtrabaho and alagaan yung isa pa nilang anak.
So yun, isa yun.
Correct. Oo.
Paano po kung ang kasama sa bahay, nasa OFW ang parents?
Nasa
Paano
lola.
nasa lola?
Tita.
So paano magagabayan ni lola na walang alam o kailangan mag-adjust sa new technology? Kasi ang mga matatanda sa era nila, parang pag sinabing computer, parang ang hirap abutin or alam agad ng mga bata kung paano
Oo.
gagawin. Pero
Oo.
it's not always the case. So ito
Yes.
yung mga major challenges naman na nakakaharap ng mga pamilya.
Correct. But let's not forget also, no, that you're already dealing with digital learners. Our learners are what you call the digital natives. When we started this online distance learning program, one of the key realizations that we had is that it's really the parents whose level of anxiety is quite high, no? And then when we surveyed our students, they're quite comfortable because it is something natural of them, natural to navigate different apps at the same time, different windows at the same time, no? So sa kanila, madali yung ganitong klaseng pagkatuto. And I think what we are very grateful for is that the students that we have, they have adult supervisors, and also they have parents who are available to help them. And if need be, that's the reason why we have a different approach in terms of the class program for our lower school students, for our middle school, and for our high school students. In our lower school students, all their classes are synchronous classes. So they have live classes to a certain platform. For our middle school students who belong to grades 6 to 8, and even our high school for grades 9 to 12, they already have a combination of the synchronous and the asynchronous class, because we know that at one point they have a certain degree of independence and they're already self-regulating learners. So we want to maximize the strength as well. That's why all of these adjustments, we had to make sure that they are consistent also in terms of the capability of the students to learn. Because just imagine, you cannot let a 6-year-old student stay still in front of a screen for 1 hour. Definitely, you cannot do that. So even the approach in terms of the live classes, it has to be an integration of movements. You cannot do direct instruction in online learning. You have to be able to move. You have to make use of all your 5 senses, regardless of the age level. So in our lower school students, each block will only be for 40 minutes, and then after that they have a break. And then for our older learners, they have their classes, they have their synchronous classes for an hour, and then you also have the breaks. And then again, consistent with our model of education, which is integral formation, that was our strongest commitment to our families. That regardless of the modality, holistic and integral formation remains to be the core of our commitment to them. So it's not just the intellectual formation that we would like to zero in, but even during online distance learning, social interaction would have to take place. So even the manner by which the classes are conducted, you have breakout rooms, you have breakout sessions to ensure that the students are able to go to a certain room where accommodation is necessary. We have to make sure that that is available to them. We even offered online clubs and extracurricular activities, which 50% of our students enrolled in. And believe it or not, we even have our online training and conditioning for our varsity members. So and even yes, and even our professional development sessions for our teachers, they're also online, and even formation sessions, even believe it or not, even our sacraments, because our institution is a Catholic institution. It's a Catholic international school. It's actually the first in Manila, and even our masses. You can see us on YouTube. Even our mentoring sessions. We remain. It remains to be offered to our families and our students.
Okay. May question po ako. Paano na squeeze in sa isang araw lahat ng kailangan po nilang matapos? Kasi sa dami ng i-cover, ilang oras po ba ang klase? As in normal time frame pa rin ba? O
No, no, no. We had to make adjustments also, no, in terms of the class program. So similar to what Miss Doris mentioned earlier, you also have the most essential learning competencies in the private school. So we belong to a network of schools under the Regnum Christi movement, and we do follow an overarching curriculum that is based in the U.S. But of course, our curriculum remains to be contextualized in the Philippine context. So we also offer Filipino and Philippine history there. So of course, in terms of those adjustments, when we receive our upgraded RC curriculum this year, that has already been sifted in terms of the most essential learning competencies. That's why even our grading system took a shift. No, so we are instead of the numbers before, our grading system has shifted to learning outcomes based.
Ito po ma'am, last question, no? Para siguro i-lighten up lang din yung mood. So, I'm sure nag-conduct po kayo ng mga orientation sa mga parents.
Yes.
You probably met a few of them na rin regarding the situation. Ano po yung pinaka-weird na feedback or questions na natanggap nyo sa mga magulang? Meron po ba?
Weird. Hindi naman. Siguro I really wouldn't look at it like a weird feedback, but I would say it was a valid feedback and question from our parents, because of course when we closed the school year, there were a lot of questions with regard to how will Everest Academy proceed in the next school year, given that this is already our reality. So we assured our parents through our primer as early as June. We already met with all our existing families. We already presented to them our game plan in terms of the online distance learning program, and our commitment to them in terms of the integral formation. And by God's grace, we were able to maintain 89% occupancy of our students. The families that we lost this year, these are expat families or foreign families who had to go back to their home countries, because yes, as an international school, we have a specific percentage of our population who are foreigner, who belong to another country. So they had to go back. Some of them even had to go back as early as March, but they continued. They ended the school year with us, since we were online during the fourth quarter. So going back to the question, I guess that was it's not a weird but a valid question, was how will you proceed? How will you ensure that, of course, with the investment also that we make in the school, and believe it or not, definitely schools in the Philippines, they're not cheap, no? And belonging also to uh, that unique group of international schools, you can just imagine the tuition fee. So we assured them of the worth of the tuition fee, but no amount can equalize, no, the kind of formation that each student would get if they are enrolled in Everest Academy. So that was the competitive advantage that we harped on during our orientation.
So kasama po ba sa tuition fee na nag-roll out, nagbamigay kayo ng resources like laptop or tablet
Mm,
or
our no, our students have their own gadgets. They have their own devices. Our teachers are provided with their own laptops. And if need be, no, if they need an extra gadget, then those resources were made available to them. And we also provide them with additional financial support in terms of internet connections if they need one. I guess our situation is quite different, quite unique, quite blessed also. That's why we would like to maximize the resources that we have. And if there's a way also for us to reach out to other schools who would be needing whatever support and help that we can offer, that is part also of the apostolic formation that we ask our students to do. Because in our upper school, they're supposed to render also service to different institutions, no? So even given this pandemic, it is a task that we hope, it's not a hope, it's something that they would have to complete, especially now that we know that extending their help to the people who would need also the resources is part and parcel of their formation to be the Christian leader who can renew society.
okay. So ayan, at least merong naibahagi si Miss Malu sa mga sa ano nila, status nila ngayon as a private school. So ngayon, Miss Malu, salamat po sa inyong
Salamat din po.
sa pagsagot sa aming mga tanong. So, ngayon we're going to the public schools naman. So, we're going to call on, thank you Miss Malu, we'll get back to you. We're going to call on Mr. Gypsy Corpus para po sa ating katanungan for the public school side. So, si Mr. Gypsy ay master teacher. So, sa Camp Nino Elementary School. So, welcome po, Mr. Gypsy.
Hi po, Miss April and Miss Trish. Actually, it's a high school po, not
A high
elementary.
school.
High school.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes
Sa
po.
ang first question po natin, sa mga nabanggit ni Miss Doris Ferrer na mga paraan,
Yeah.
sistema ng pag-aaral ngayong pandemic, may ibang
Mm.
sistema pa po ba kayong ginagamit sa Camp Nino National High School kasabay ng modular learning sa mga paaralan ngayon?
First and foremost, I would like to say that it is not actually flexible, but DepEd called it a distance learning. So distance learn, according to a DepEd memo that was given by DepEd, distance learning is divided into four, and that would be online, modular, TV and radio based, and then the blended learning. So going back to the question po, if we at Campina National High School is using other learning delivery modalities. That's also one point. At DepEd, we call that learning delivery modalities or LDM. So aside from online and modular, we do blended. And also
Okay.
we nag-aano rin po kami, nagre-resort din kami sa TV-based instruction since our school is located since our division, our DepEd division here at Cabanatuan City has a
Yes.
local TV station. So may magandang platform para maipalabas sa local TV station yung mga locally made, meaning gawa naming mga teachers from Cabanatuan City na mga lessons based on self-learning modules and
Yes.
most essential learning competencies. So
Okay.
more or less blended po siya. Hindi lang and I may also speak in behalf of all schools po siguro in the entire country na we cannot stick to a specific learning delivery modalities lang. Kailangan
Yes.
talaga paghalu-haluin since we have a diverse different types of learners. Diverse talaga sila eh. Merong may afford ng online, merong may hindi afford ng online, and then yung iba pa na malayo sa school, nasa far-flung area. So, yan yung ibang mga kino-consider namin in deciding which learning delivery modalities will be used.
So,
Okay po.
meron po akong katanungan. Kung hati or maraming pwede pa rin mag-internet at pwede pa rin mag-focus sa modular, paano nai-inform ang mga guro? Kunyari, ako isang magulang, ay may internet kami or meron kaming kapasidad. Paano po yun? Ang hirap po siguro sa isang teacher
I-connect, opo.
na i-connect kung paano ibibigay yung mga modules or yung mismong pag-aaral nila. Paano po nila yung nagagawa?
Actually, it's very difficult on our part po ano. Kaya yung sinasabi ng iba na we are working from home very comfortably and very flexibly, that's not true.
Hindi po
Kasi
totoo
po
yan.
hindi no. Teachers nowadays are adjusting very much of themselves. Lalong-lalo na po yung mga teachers na seasoned teachers na yung pang how will I say this? Yung marami ng presidente at saka DepEd secretary na pinagdaanan. So, kung kaming mga kung kaming nasa mga ganitong edad ay nag-a-adjust pa, paano pa sila? So, yung tinatanong niyo pa paano namin sila napagko-connect-connect. Actually, yung mga teachers ngayon sa Pilipinas ang may pinakamaraming group chats. So, if I have 6 subjects with me, 6 na group chats yon. And then, iba pa yung group chat ko na para sa parents or iba pa yung group chat para sa aming mga teachers, iba pa yung group chat naming mga magkaka-grade levels, iba pa yung group chat naming magkaka-science department. So, kung kaya, halimbawa 56, actually it's not only 50 students in our class. Minsan 60 to 70 pa, tas araw-araw nadadagdagan ang nag-e-enroll. So halimbawa, meron kaming kino-contact through SMS or meron kaming ini-email, meron kaming kino-contact through Facebook. Lahat na ng capacity na pwede namin gamitin, ginagamit na namin to connect that. And it cannot happen in just a month or it cannot be done in just a few months. Matagal, laborious talaga yung trabaho ngayon.
So, hindi maalis sa mukha ko yung ngiti kasi naaalala ko rin nung ako'y nag-aaral eh. 50 plus din kami sa isang classroom and
Yeah.
tatandaan ko sir, that was the time na kaka-introduce pa lang ng computer sa amin and syempre,
Yes.
like April's mom, although tutor na lang siya at the moment, hindi na siya public or private teacher.
Yes, hindi na
We
practicing.
have to get her a new computer. We have to get
Yeah.
April's niece para turuan siya.
Kung
So,
paano ulit bumalik
imagine,
sa computer.
imagine sa school kung ilang teacher ang kailangan nyo rin i-orient, lalo
Yes
na sa
po.
digital learning.
Yes, very true. Isa pa pong malaking problema isa pa sa malaking siguro constraint is connectivity, internet connectivity. You know very well how slow the internet connectivity we have in the Philippines. So, napaka-challenging, sobrang challenging kasi ang mga meetings ngayon ng teacher is through, can I mention it?
Yes, sir.
Can I
Zoom.
mention the platform? Zoom and
Yes.
Google Meet. So yeah,
Oh,
Zoom and
Google
Google Meet. So, yeah, paano kami makakapag-meeting ng lahat kami ay makakapasok doon ng walang isa or dalawa or tatlo na hindi naglalag? So, unlike before na madali mag-facilitate ng meeting. So, kung sa mga teachers nangyayari yung mga ganong klase ng technical difficulties or technology failures, paano pa sa mga klase namin if we will be doing an online classes? But, katulad po ng sinabi ko kanina is, kung kaya ng mga estudyante na mamili in between printed modular distance learning or digital modular distance learning, pwede. Mababawasan yung gastos, mababawasan yung paper cost pag ang pinili nila ay digital, meaning isa-send namin yung mga soft copies ng mga lessons namin. Medyo pa rin yun, medyo maganda pa rin sa safety and health protocols kasi parents need not to come to school to get the modules of their children. Hindi na sila kailangan pumunta ng school kung pwede naman naming isend siya through messenger or through or convert yung mga yon into PDF files and then send it to them. Kaya lang yun po talagang mga walang internet connections or even those who do not have their own cell phones. But it's not true na kapag wala kang gadget at this moment ay hindi ka makapag-aaral. That's not true. That's not in any way true. Ginagawa ng lahat reluctantly. The DepEd is not that 100% ready. But DepEd is doing everything na na magawa, na maibalik dun sa mga estudyante para ma-reach out sila, para no student can be left behind.
It's better doing something rather than nothing. Sabi nga nung pag-uusap
Yes,
namin
yes, yes po.
Yung estudyante, yung student itself hindi siya papayag na mali-left behind siya. Kasi iba yung peer pressure pagka ikaw lang yung
Oo,
wala,
paano yun?
ikaw yung walang
Kunyari,
ganon. So,
pressure din sa mga
Oo.
magulang. Kasi
Tama.
Yeah, oo.
pressure din sa mga magulang dahil,
Yeah,
Ma,
opo.
walang wala.
Oo.
O yun. So,
Kailangan ko ng bagong cellphone, kailangan ko mag-load araw-araw. So parang dagdag pa din sa pressures talaga sa kanila yun. But
so
just
bilang
like I've said po, yes,
go
Go
ahead
ahead
po. Go ahead. Sige
I'm
po.
sorry, medyo nag-feedback. Katulad po ng sabi ko kanina, since public ang setting namin in terms of our educational system, kaya konti lang din naman yung nag-o-online. Or yung mga naka-enroll sa special program, sila yung ine-encourage namin na mag-online. Like in my case, in our school we have 3 different special programs. We have special programs for science, special program for sports, and then special program for TLE. So yung mga yon ine-encourage namin silang mag-online since they are not that challenged. I mean, they are not that intellectually challenged kasi nasa special program nga sila, kayang-kaya nilang makapag-join in an online class. But nevertheless, kung talagang hindi nila makakayang maka-join sa online classes, we provide ways. Kasi pare-parehas naman sila ng gagawin dahil pare-parehas ang content ng module na ibibigay sa bawat isa sa kanila.
Okay. So,
Yes,
ang next question naman po ngayon, sa gagamiting bagong sistema, sapat po ba ang mga resources na inihanda or ibinigay ng ating Department of Education?
Sa inyo pong opinion, sir, kung
Okay,
kung
opinion
kayo
po
yung
ito.
tatanungin.
Sa
okay.
inyong eskwelahan.
And yeah, anyway, it's not it's now open to the public that marami talaga pang kulang in terms of resources. But
Okay.
hindi naman totally wala. Meaning, the first months na-expose ang mga teachers, actually hindi lang teachers, pati yung mga school heads and then school administrators on this kind of modality like modular. Talagang namroblema rin naman kami kung saan kami kukuha ng mga bond papers at saka mga ink ng printers na ipang-print namin ng mga modules because each one module is consisting of 20 pages, 24 pages. So gaano karami yon? And hindi lang naman isang bata ang pagpiprintan namin yon. At hindi lang naman isang subject ang pagpiprintan ng mga modules na yon. Let's say sa high school, sa junior high school, 8 ang subject nila. So they need to have 8 modules with 20 pages each. So, yan yun sigurong mga observations ko when it comes to preparation. At the very moment, at the time we are speaking today or at the moment, DepEd is currently releasing a number of modules na on the entire country siguro kasi meron na kaming natanggap na inventory ng mga available na modules na ide-deliver per school na. Kaya lang hindi pa siya kumpleto. May mga subjects pa rin na wala pang modules. Okay.
So, sir, masasabi niyo po ba since magsi-start bukas, makakapag-start naman po ba? Ready naman po ba sa mga deliverables para bukas? Or let's say,
At least yung
for the
modules
week.
bukas, for the week.
Yes, actually, even before nagawa na ng paraan ng mga eskwelahan yon kasi ang naiprint na ng mga teachers with their own capacity to resource something para sa mga learning materials nila, nakapag-print na kami ng pang week 1 to 3. So from week 1 to 3 na mga modules, na-ipack na namin yon, na-isort na namin yon, na ilagay na namin sa mga envelopes at lahat ng bata ay mayroon titigisa. lahat ng batang enrolled ay mayroon titigisa at naipamigay na rin siya. Actually, last week, ang school namin nag-distribute na ng modules, and itong week na to parang nag-distribute na rin ng modules karamihan sa mga eskwelahan. So, may magagamit na ang mga bata bukas. May mga magagamit na ang mga bata bukas. Sa school namin hanggang week 3 may magagamit sila. So, good for 3 weeks na yung na-distribute namin. Yung iba namang mga schools na mga maliliit at hindi naman kaya pang makapag-print ng ganoon kadaming modules para sa mga estudyante nila, nakapag-prepare na rin sila for week 1. Kaya for this week, definitely may magagamit yung mga bata.
Okay, thank you po, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Nakakaluwag na rin
Sa kalooban siguro ng mga nanonood
kasi
ng
hindi,
magulang.
siguro hindi lang parents pati rin syempre yung mga estudyante mag-iisip, and lalo na yung mga teachers, mga school personnel, at least meron siguro kahit mga ilang araw na pahinga bago gawin yung mga
Hindi.
susunod na
I think
module.
tuloy-tuloy ito. Kasi paano na yung susunod na mga
Hindi,
weeks?
pero
They have
kailangan
to,
pahinga.
they will really put in effort.
Oo.
Kaya na-appreciate natin
Thank you.
sila.
Kilala natin ng mga teachers
Yes,
natin. Hindi yan
yeah,
matatahimik.
especially that we will be celebrating the National Teachers Month tomorrow,
Yes.
October 5. So,
Yeah.
timely na i-open ang school year in celebrating the World Teachers, the National Teachers Month, which is October 5.
Siguro ito ngayon yung first online National Teachers Day. Di ba? Abangan natin yan.
Yeah, actually, yung ibang mga school, virtual ang celebrations nila ng Teachers Month. Unlike before na talagang sinusurprise ng mga estudyante yung mga teachers nila. Ngayon, virtual. Talagang sa Google Meet nakakapag-celebrate. Para lang ma-feel ng mga teachers na at this point in time, they are valued more than they know. Kasi ako I am speaking not because I am in the field, because I know how teachers work during this time. Na mahirap pero kinakaya. So very challenging pero natatapos ng mga teachers.
Speaking of hard work, paano po ba naihanda ang mga public school teachers? Ano po ang mga specific training na kanilang
Siguro
napag-undergo?
yan.
May mga institutions, private institutions po bang tumulong? Katulad po ng ginawa ni Manu, I think na-cover na yung ibang training.
Yeah. In our iba-iba kasi ng ibang mga training strategy yung mga schools. Yung ibang mga schools, ang una nilang ginawang training sa mga teachers nila is familiarity dun sa platforms na gagamitin. Say, how are they going to facilitate lessons or online lessons using Zoom, using Google Meet, and then they are introduced to different learning management system. So yun yung ibang training na inuna ng mga ibang teachers. Pero in our division po, simula nung may binaba na suggested strategies for learning delivery modalities, nagkaroon na po ng series of training. When I say division, itong buong city namin, lahat na ng teachers, elementary and secondary school teachers, ay tinrain. Training in terms of the different learning modalities nga. Like, papaano i-conduct yung mga forms ng distance learning na yon. And then, ang DepEd din, nationwide, meron siyang isang malaking training para sa lahat ng teachers. And then we call that, or the DepEd call that, LDM courses, Learning Delivery Modality courses. Iba yung training na ibinigay nila sa mga school heads, supervisors, principals, head teachers, at saka iba din yung training na ibinigay nila sa mga teachers. So, parang yung LDM training na yun is meron kaming mga reflections na kailangan magawa dun sa mga trainings na yun. And meron din namang mga output and those outputs are those that we will be using when we do the online teaching. Like, for example, nabanggit kanina ni Miss Doris, the class program, or the lesson planning. Kapag ba ganitong pandemic, wala na kaming lesson plan. So, papaano kami gagawa ngayon ng schedule? Nabanggit niyo rin po ata kanina na parang gaano kadaming subject ang ibibigay ng teacher sa loob ng isang araw? Or how do, as teachers, combine asynchronous and synchronous learning? So, ang scheduling ba, si student, maghapon siyang nakaharap sa computer, may suggested na screen time lang para sa kanila in every grade level. So ang daming mga ganun na talagang ginawan ng intervention ng mga eskwelahan. So I may also would like to commend those school heads, our supervisors, the superintendents, the directors na talagang nag-design ng mga ganong plan para ma-ready yung teachers. Again, yung iba reluctant pa din, hindi pa rin masyadong receptive sa change, but kesa naman wala. So kesa hindi na-expose na ito na yung bagong avenue ng teaching and learning process. And sabi nga nila, new normal ito, pero sa ibang bansa siguro like Japan and New Zealand and your country, you have been practicing this even before na. So talagang ito nagkataon na dito sa Pilipinas siguro ito na yung start, parang pioneer ng ganitong klase ng teaching learning process.
Opo. Oo nga po. Sana po, ako, in my opinion, sana po magtuloy-tuloy na. Kung
At
pwedeng-
ma-improve, unti-unting ma-improve.
Oo, kung
Yeah.
pwedeng hindi na everyday pumapasok yung mga estudyante kasi papunta na rin tayo sa digital world eh. So,
Nandun
this
na
is
tayo.
one way of
Yeah.
preparing them. So,
Siguro yung ibang yes ma'am.
Yep,
Go ahead.
Siguro yung ang isa sa mga disadvantage lang siguro pag wala na tayong face to face is how we teachers could employ our love for teaching, our love for learning. Kumbaga parang iba pa rin kapag kaharap mo yung mga bata, yung mga estudyante. Parang ganun. So, but nevertheless, nandito na tayo. So, kailangan talaga malaking adjustment sa mahabang pasensya para doon para sa pagpapacilitate ng teaching learning process ngayon.
Okay. So last question for now.
Yes po.
Ano po ang mga hamon o hinaing na inyong natanggap mula sa mga guro muna? Dahil nasa master teacher level po tayo ngayon.
Yeah.
So parang yung master teacher po ba, sir, yun na yung parang
Next
mga
to principal.
senior.
No po, you have the principal, and then kapag po ang school kasi may senior high school, you'll be having an assistant principal. So an assistant principal will oversee the senior high school. So in a school, there would be, aside from them, there would be department heads, the head
Okay.
teachers. Yun yung mga head ng science, head ng Filipino, head ng math. Ang master teachers po talaga are assigned for content, for curriculum, for delivery. So pag walang head teachers na magsaserve as a head of the department, pwede naman na yun munang master teacher being siguro yung kung wala talaga yung master teacher being the ano ba to assign siguro yung responsibility yung may responsibility kesa ibigay sa isang regular teacher. So challenge siguro ang number one challenge kasi talaga is sa mga teachers. Since hindi naman pare-parehas ng pagtanggap para dito sa ganitong klase ng current system or current avenue ng teaching learning process, nahirapan yung iba na i-engage yung sarili nila sa technology or i-accommodate yung dami ng mga changes and adjustment na kailangan nilang gawin. Like for some, nung una, mga teachers pa ang gumawa ng mga modules eh. Mga teachers ang nag-design ng module in a platform na hindi rin naman familiar yung iba. So parang even if they don't like that, parang they have no choice. They have no choice. Yung iba siguro na malapit na, mga 59 years old na ayaw na nila mag-computer or ayaw nang mag-manipulate ng technology, baka nag-resign na yung iba. But, kaysa nga naman maabutan sila ng hirap. But, yes, another challenge is yung talagang connectivity ng internet. Kasi mahirap nang i-accommodate yung technology failure pag ikaw na yung nagpe-present ng lesson mo eh. Paano kung wala ka pang internet connection? Some teachers are only relying on data. How can I explain that to you? Yung nakakonect lang sila sa internet doon sa phone nila. Parang at a limited range lang yun and at a limited time. So yun siguro yung mga challenges kasi kung strategy or methodology, wala nang question doon kasi makakapagturo at yes. Oo, makakapagturo at makakapagturo yung teacher kahit na walang laptop, kahit na Manila paper lang 'yan, kung yung dating system natin. So siguro adjustment talaga sa klase ng system na meron sa teaching learning process.
Okay. Thank you po, Sir Gypsy.
Yes po.
Marami talagang mga sagot na nakuha natin ngayon tungkol sa pagsisimula bukas. Salamat po sa
Yes po.
pag-a-assure ninyo na
Yes po.
maayos pa rin na mairo-roll out ang
Yes,
start
opo.
ng classes. Yes.
Yeah.
So, dahil napag-usapan ng training, thank you po, sir. We'll go to our next
Yes, ma'am.
speaker. And napag-usapan ng training. So tayo ay pumunta naman kay Miss Arlene Velasco na taga Binyan, Teacher 2. So let's welcome Miss Arlene. There we go. Hi, Miss
Hello.
Arlene. Kamusta po?
Magandang hapon po, Ma'am
Good
Arlene.
afternoon ulit.
So
Okay.
ayan. May una po kaming question. Magsisimula na po ang school year sa public school. Bukas na. Masasabi niyo po ba na may angkop na paghahanda at training na ang inyong kayong mga guro, for example, diyan sa inyong paaralan ngayon?
Sa inyo pong opinion.
Dito naman sa school namin, bukas na mag-uumpisa na yung pasukan. Bilang isang public school teacher, marami kaming paghahandang ginawa bago pa itong pasukan na to. Lahat ng mga guro ay sumailalim sa iba't ibang webinar o trainings na sa tingin naman namin ay malaki ang maitutulong para maiambag sa aming mga mag-aaral. Halos lahat ng ito ay bago, hindi lang sa part namin mga guro, syempre doon din sa magiging katuang namin na gagabay sa mga bata. Ito yung mga kanilang mga magulang. So sa lahat ng aming paghahanda, hindi pa din po namin sigurado o matutukoy na kung gaano kaangkop yung mga pagsasanay na aming dinaluhan upang maisaguro yung pagkatuto ng bawat bata o para maibigay namin ang kasiguraduhan. Siguro sisikapin pa rin po namin na maging maibigay yung maayos at epektibo na kalidad ng edukasyon sa kanila.
Okay po. So bilang mga guro na nagpapasapot sa tupad ng mga plano o programa ng Department of Education, bilang kayo ang humaharap sa mga estudyante at mga magulang, ano po yung mga challenges or mga hamon na kinaharap nyo this past few days? May mga magulang po bang nagtanong, "Ma'am, paano po? Hindi pa po kami ready," or "Ang anak ko po ay hindi pa handa." Paano nyo po yun na-address?
Sa totoo lang, napakarami at napakahirap. Kasi syempre, sa part namin, nasa public kami, hindi naman kasi lahat nakakaunawa. Hindi lahat naman ay may aral. So sa part namin, lagi ang hamon sa amin paano namin ipauunawa sa kanila yung mga bagay-bagay na nagbabago sa paligid, lalo na sa pagdating sa edukasyon, sa sistema ng edukasyon natin ngayon. So napakarami. Lalong-lalo na yung mga magulang na walang oras. Siyempre, yung mga full-time working mommy o daddy, wala silang oras para turuan yung kanilang mga anak. Yun yung mga napakalaking hamon sa amin. Bukod pa doon yung magulang na hindi marunong bumasa at sumulat. Yun ang pinag-problema namin, paano sila magiging katuang namin sa paggabay sa kanilang mga anak na maturuan sa loob ng bahay.
Kasi
Yan ang
sila po
malaking
ang una,
hamon.
diba? Oo, tama. So, ayan. So, yun ang isa sa mga challenges nga kung ang
Opo.
inyong kasama sa bahay, ang iyong kapamilya ay merong hindi rin
Challenges
nakapag-aral
din. Oo.
or no read, no write. So, ang ang estudyante ay umaasa sa kanila bukod sa mga teachers. Maraming salamat po. So, right now, we'll be going to our next topic, which is pagsisigurado ng pagpatuloy ng kalidad ng edukasyon. So, assuring the quality of education in this pandemic time. So, salamat po, Miss Arlene. Tayo po ay babalik sa inyo mamaya. So, ayan. Mauna po babalik po tayo sa ating first speaker na si Miss Ferrer. Base sa mga plano na napag-usapan, paano masisiguro ang kalidad ng edukasyon ngayon? So, we're going back to Miss Ferrer. Right here. Hi, Miss Ferrer.
Thank you po.
Ayun, andito na ako ulit.
Yes. Ang question po natin ukol sa quality of education. May feedback na po ba tayong nakukuha ngayon mula sa mga pribadong eskwelahan na gumagamit ng bagong paraan ng pag-aaral?
Okay, meron na ba tayong feedback?
Yes.
Pare-parehong sinasabi, no? Especially yung mga ngayon pa lang gumagamit ng iba-ibang modalities, no? Other than face-to-face, na lahat ay komportable sa ganun. Or yung dati nang nag-online delivery, na ngayon, ang choice nila is, but force of circumstance, it will have to be fully online.
Okay po. Okay, mukhang nagkakaroon po ng technical difficulties sa part ni Mrs. Ferrer right now. So balikan po natin siya.
Mamaya.
So let's go to Miss Neri Cura or Miss Malu. Meron po tayong katanungan sa kanya. Kamusta po ang implementasyon ng online learning sa pribadong or distance learning sa inyong paaralan?
Dito sa Everest Academy Manila, naging maayos naman, no? Naging maayos ang andaloy ng pag-implement namin ng online distance learning program namin, or what we aptly call our life. Just like what I said earlier, the adjustments and the challenges that we faced during the fourth quarter were all addressed, and so far so good. Of course, we cannot discount the fact that there are still challenges in terms of connectivity. That remains to be a reality. But if in the event a student does not fails to attend the live classes, we also came up with different strategies on how they could avail of the activities or whatever assessments or whatever lessons that they may be missing because of that unfortunate incident. So we were able to put everything in place.
Okay. So, with that question, I would like to call on Mr. Gypsy to answer another follow-up question. So, I'll go to him first. Sir Gypsy, dahil hindi pa nag-uumpisa ang klase sa pampublikong paaralan, so it's tomorrow, papaano niyo
Yes
sinisigurado
po.
na magagawa ng lahat ang bagong paraan ng pagtuturo o pag-aaral?
Actually, the best way to ensure that is monitoring through their schedule, the class program. So teachers have created, aside from so many GCs, may mga kanya-kanya rin kaming mga group page, may kanya-kanya rin kaming mga Facebook pages para ma-ensure na kung hindi man kaya ng isang bata yung ganong platform, meron naman siyang ibang choice. Or we even call them, we even text them, and then kung talagang hindi pa rin namin siya ma-reach sa mga ganong platform, nag-home visit na kami. Tinitingnan na namin kung talaga bang nasasagutan or kung ano yung feedback ng mga parents doon sa pagsagot ng mga module, or how these children, this students answered feel when in answering the modules. Do they feel stress? Pressured ba sila? Or hirap na hirap ba sila dun sa mga sinasagutin na sa mga modules nila? Sa mga teachers naman po, in terms of monitoring, may mga kanya-kanya po kaming schedule kung kailan kami magfa-facilitate ng module. Syempre modular, hindi naman yan ipa-facilitate online. So, it doesn't necessarily mean na kapag nag-online class kami, yung buong isang oras, mag-virtual discussion kami ng mga topics namin. Pwedeng naman yun kasi ay maging avenue ng online consultation or mga questions nila about dun sa mga modules na ipinamigay namin, or mga difficulties encountered nila dun sa mga modules na ibinigay namin. Let me tell everyone who's watching na the Bureau of Learning Delivery of DepEd sila yung mga gumawa ng mga modules na ipapamigay ngayon. So, meaning yun ay mga na-quality assured talaga. So, ibig sabihin, yung modules na ipapamigay from one region to another region ay iisa lang yung content. It's just so happen na yung mga naunang naming ipinamigay na mga modules ay initiatives na ng mga teachers, initiatives na ng mga division, initiative na ng mga local divisions ng DepEd na gumawa na ng sarili kaysa hintayin pa yung ibibigay ng central office. But then again, yung central office naman ay nakahabol bago ang opening ng classes kasi meron silang mga i-deliver na mga modules from week 4 onwards na ata yun or pang buong first quarter and then the other quarters pa.
Okay, thank you for that. So we'll be going back
Yes
to
pa.
Miss Ferrer. I think she had a technical difficulty earlier. So going back, Miss Ferrer,
Yeah.
dun sa
About
question,
feedback.
feedback ngayon ng mga private school sa PEAC.
Actually, maraming mga best practices no, na nakikita tayo among those schools na gumagamit ng iba-ibang modalities. So sabi nga natin, pagdating ng araw, kailangan i-mine natin lahat ng ating learnings, no, given that we departed from face-to-face. And then come up with something for a better normal. No? Na ano itong mga to? For example, sa Claret School of Quezon City, dalawa ang dalawa ang teacher sa bawat online class. Dahil sinisiguro nila na isang teacher nagpe-present, yung isang teacher sinisiguro lang na engage ang mga bata, lahat ay on task, and then kapag nagkaroon ng problema sa connectivity si teacher 1, nandun si teacher 2. So sabi ko nga, mas magastos pa ang ginagawa nila ngayon, but they thought if your priority is student learning, gagawan mo talaga yan ng solusyon. Yung isang eskwelahan naman, University of the Immaculate Conception sa Davao City, ang teachers nila from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on board yan to accept calls from parents, no? Kasi nga ang ano natin is hindi
May helpline.
na may helpline kasi ang teachers kailangan palagi pwede silang makausap ng mga magulang lalo na kung syempre no wala sila is all distance now no and remote, wala sila sa eskwelahan, hindi nila alam kung paano ang talagang ginagawa ng mga bata accomplishing no the modules or going online and listening to the synchronous or asynchronous discussions. Kaya may ganong helpline no, na ginawa yung ibang eskwelahan. So maraming best practices. Now, paano nag-a-adjust no, ang PAC at iba pang accrediting agencies? Yung accrediting agencies sa Pilipinas, dinedevelop na ngayon ang mga standards nila looking at how they do accreditation using the different types of modalities na. Kasi nga, ang bottom line natin, quality has to be assured. Hindi dahilan na dahil nagka-pandemic at dahil hindi tayo sanay, hindi tayo marunong, nag-iba tayo ng modality, i-compromise natin ang kalidad. So
No excuse.
no excuse nga. So pero yun na nga, may learning curve, no? Pero sa akin, ano lang, I mean, take it on, navigate as long as you're well-intentioned. Ano bang intention? Matuto ang bata. Kapag nakikita mo na hindi natututo yung bata, then recalibrate. Kapag nakikita mo na hindi pwede itong una mong strategiya, then gawa ka ng isa pa, di ba? Kasi ganun talaga siya. No one was 100% prepared na ganito ang mangyayari sa school year 2020-21. Kailangan lang buwang loob na, sabi ko nga, the mission is bigger than ourselves. It's not about us. It's about the learners. So if that is your mindset, then you'll do everything.
Yes, so salamat po.
Thank you po ulit, Miss Doris. So, balikan natin naman ulit si
Miss Arlene. So, Miss Arlene, dahil kayo po ang nasa field, kayo ang nagdi-distribute ng modules, nakipag-usap sa magulang, on your level, paano nyo po na-assure na yung quality of education ay nandoon pa din? Hindi pa naman po nagsisimula, pero paano nyo po, sa opinion nyo, paano nyo po ito magagawa?
Katulad ng ginawa ni Sir Corfus, nagawa din kami ng group chat. Siyempre, yun na yung in ngayon. So, tinry namin magawa ng group chat para in case na may problema doon sa mga parent, makikater namin kung ano yung problema nila doon sa modules na binigay namin, sa mga worksheet, mga activities na pinigay namin nitong nakaraang linggo para gagamitin nila this coming Monday. So, lahat ng yon ay nag-advance na kami para makater namin ang mga katanungan nila kung may sakaling may mga magulang na hindi nila alam ang gagawin nila. Gumawa kami ng group chat para magtanong sa amin ng mga magulang, masabi namin kung anong problema nila, matugunan namin ang lahat ng pangailangan nila. Yun po.
Okay po. Thank you very much sa inyong opinion. So, ngayon, tayo naman po ay magtungo sa mental
Mental
health. So, we will be calling on Miss Venus. Yes.
Yan.
So, hi Miss Venus, kamusta po?
Hello po, okay naman.
Yes. So, punta naman tayo sa psikolohiya ng aspeto ng pandemya. Sa ating mga guro at mag-aaral, I came upon this article recently in the Philippine Daily Inquirer, written last August 18, so very recent, 2020, by Gabriel Pabico Lalu. According to the College Editors Guild of the Philippines, it has received reports or nakatanggap ng mga report na isang 21-year-old male student committed suicide as the pandemic drove his family deeper into poverty, resulting he could not afford the gadgets that would be required for the distance learning. So, Miss Venus, we have our first question. Everyone is
Yes.
dealing with this new normal right now. This pandemic has disrupted all of our lives. Yes. What are the common mental problems that the students and teachers are experiencing right now base sa mga natatanggap nyo?
So, update ko lang, si Miss Venus po ay guidance counselor sa pamantasan ng lungsod ng Maynila. So, yung data kung ano mang meron si Miss Venus is more on college students. Tama ba, Vince?
Yes po.
Okay, go ahead, Vince.
Okay, so as observe, yung ating normal response, so yung may mga crisis, ay merong fear, worry, and stress. So,
Yes.
sa nararanasan natin ngayong pandemya, tapos may COVID-19 na yung pa yung nakakadagdag din ng mga alalahanin natin. Tapos sa mga students at mga teachers, sasamahan pa ng mga kakulangan sa gadget at gaya nga ng mga narinig natin sa ating mga speakers, ay handa ba? So, yung fear, worry, and stress na yon, kapag hindi nabigyan tamang intervention, ito ay pwedeng mapunta sa serious mental problem, which are what we call anxiety, depression, and panic attacks. So, yung mga ganong pakiramdam, hindi rin siya maganda na i-self-label natin. So, maganda na may makakausap tayo na mental health professional na makakatulong sa atin, mas malinawan kung ano ba yung nararanasan natin at nararamdaman. Sa mga students kasi, parang dagdag alalahanin pa sa kanila yung mga nawalan ng trabaho na magulang, di ba po? Tapos, maaaring may mga kamag-anak silang nagkasakit or namatayan ng kamag-anak o kapamilya dahil sa COVID-19. So, kung yung mga estudyante na yun, nadagdagan pa ng ganong alalahanin, maaaring magkaroon sila ng tinatawag na depression. Pero, importante na meron silang nakakausap. And, gaya nga ng sinabi ko kanina, mas magandang hindi tayo mag-self-label, kundi we seek help para mas maintindihan ko ano yung nararanasan natin. And then sa mga teachers naman, syempre, concern din nila yung dami ng mga gagawin. Kung paano i-deliver yung quality of education. Syempre, iba pressure din yun on their part. Pero hanggat may hanggang nagdag ating gobyerno at yung mga nabanggit kayo on the part naman ng college, may ginagawa din yung CHED para mapatuloy at mabigay yung quality of education. Ayun.
Okay, so we'd like to greet our 1,148 viewers tonight. So we are really happy with the feedback, okay?
Tsaka
That
yung
we're
may mga
getting.
questions po, don't forget to type out your questions. We'll read them out and hopefully one of our guests can answer them or give us some insights.
Yes.
So yun, going back to Miss Vance or Miss Venus,
Yes.
With these problems na kinakaharap natin at the moment, especially on PLM, no? Could you give us some ways on how students, I'm not sure if you also covering teachers, but
Mhm.
how can you help the students on overcoming this particular yung mga pinagdadaanan nila? So paano nyo na-ensure na they can come back kung ano man yung pinagdadaanan nila sa ngayon?
Well, for us, sa aming school, nag-conduct kami ng mga webinars, no? For example, yung isa sa mga kinonduct namin, Happiness Dare, para sa mga academic support unit namin. So, gusto naming mapaalala sa kanila na maging focus tayo dun sa kung ano yung nagpapasaya sa'yo para hindi ka matatangay ng kahit anumang negativity around. Tapos sa mga students naman, nag-conduct din kami as initiated by our director na magbigay ng mental health facilitation program. So, naganap kami ng resource speaker para doon, para sila din, tutunan nilang skills about mental health facilitation, magamit din nila para sa sarili nila at sa mga kapwa estudyante nila na sa tingin nila kailangan ng tulong.
Okay.
And additional to that, gusto ko ding iparating na yung pagiging handa natin sa pagpasok ay talagang impact para mas ma-focus tayo sa present kaysa yung mag-overthink, isipin natin kung ano pa yung mangyayari, isipin natin kung tutuloy ba, isipin natin kung ano yung negative pang darating. Pag naging present ka at naging mindful ka sa sitwasyon, mas makikita mo na may magagamit pala ako. Hindi lang pala kailangan laging may laptop, meron din module. Sa tingin ko, pwede ko rin mag-consult sa teacher o kaya naman sa guidance counselor. Sa tingin, may nararamdaman ako, may naiisip na kailangan kong mabigyan ng pansin.
Okay. So, going to the third question. Meron bang mga roles ang mga magulang para ma-ensure din ang mental health ng kanilang mga anak? And meron ba dapat mga signs na dapat they could watch out for to know whether their child is
or mga tips na pwede mong sabihin sa mga parents na nanonood ngayon na minsan kasi yung mga anak or yung mga bata
hindi yan nagsasabi.
in denial.
Oo.
Hindi nila sasabihin.
True.
So ano kaya yung ilang mga
Totoo
signs
po yan.
na makita ng mga magulang na there's something wrong?
Yes.
Baka kailangan ng pag-usapan.
Una, kung may maitutulong ba sila? Yes, opo. Una, ang pinakamatutulong nila ay being supportive, no, sa bawat ginagawa ng mga anak nila. For example, hindi mo man maibigay yung gadget, pero kaya mong pumunta sa school, makausap si teacher kung paano makakakuha ng modules, part na yun ng support na binibigay mo. So, hindi lang yung physical na support, meron din tayong psychological support. Yung papalakasin mo yung loob ng anak mo na kaya mo yan, matatapos mo yan, kaya mong gawin yan. Or yung ibang magulang naman, kunyari sa office sila, nila yung activity ng anak niya, just give them a call. Kaya anak, yung iyong activity, yung school activity mo for today, or bago sila matulog, mag-uusap, no? So that is part of the psychological support na pwede nating ibigay. Kahit wala yung financial, pero may ibang support tayong pwedeng maibigay, gaya nga ng mga yun.
At sa mga magulang din po na nanonood or mga guardian, siguro po, huwag nating i-ignore kung may mga signs man na makikita tayo or mararamdaman sa mga bata. I think kailangan or mas maganda na kausapin natin sila. Kasi yung mental health, hindi naman ibig sabihin na mental
may mali
tama
agad.
na agad sa utak yung iisipin
Iba
ng mga
kasi
tao.
yung
Kailangan na
stereotypical na iniisip ng mga
Mm-mm.
Pilipino.
kailangan maalis sa isip ng bawat Pilipino yun, no, kung may hihilingin man ako, na hindi lahat ng mental health or mental awareness, mental topic, patungkol sa pagiging baliw. So, dapat maalis yan sa atin. Yung sensitive information to So, kung ikaw, na nakakatanda at nakakaunawa, try to reach out. This is a serious matter, lalo na sa situation natin ngayon na kailangan maging kind tayo sa bawat isa. So, dapat we reach out to them. Sino man sila, anak mo, pamangkin,
Yes.
even magulang, kasama mo sa bahay, try and encourage them. Di ba? Kasi lahat tayo may pinagdadaanan.
Okay. So,
And gusto ko lang idagdag na mas
Yes.
maganda po talaga na pinag-uusapan ito. Hindi
Mm.
binabaliwala, hindi dine-deny, hindi
Yes.
hindi rin yung iniisang tabi lang. Okay,
Tama.
so pwede rin kasing si parent ay may mga ganun ding damdamin. So, ano ba yung pwede nating signs na yung non-verbal? So, pag ang anak mo ba ay nakakatulog pa ng maayos, nagiging productive, okay pa siya or okay yon. Pero kung hindi na siya kumakain ng tama sa oras, hindi na nakikipag-usap sa'yo, those are non-verbal signs na bigyan natin ng intervention kahit sa bahay lang. Yung verbal signs naman, pag nagsasabi na siya na hindi ko na po ito kaya, ayoko po ng ganito, hindi na po ako magtutuloy dito sa online class or sa distance learning. Kapag na po siya ng ganun, alamin po natin, hanapin natin yung cause, para yung cause na yun, doon tayo magbibigay ng solusyon, para hindi na siya laging nasa negative side. So another psychological support na napapalak loob nila. And kung sa tingin natin na hindi na natin din kayang i-handle or kailangan natin ng ibang makakausap, we can seek help from mental health professional.
Okay. So, last question before we go to the financial assistance, kasi nabanggit nga na may nagpakamatay or may stress due to is there any helpline na na pwedeng tawagan ng ating mga magulang o kung sino man ang
Oo,
nangangailangan
kasi
ng tulong?
helpline, kasi halimbawang may mga bata or mga students na gusto nila anonymous. Ayaw nila nung may
Kaalam,
nakakilala.
oo.
Oo, meron ba tayong ganung sistema
Mm.
for the students, lalo na sa panahon ngayon?
So, gusto ko lang din munang i-emphasize, kung meron man tayong unang helpline, it would be our family. Okay?
Yes.
Kasi when we feel na parang ayaw nating mag-share sa kanila, we must remind ourselves na kailangan. Kailangan nating gawin yun kasi hindi mo kakayanin yun mag-isa. You need your family. Second, teachers and counselors. Pwede din po silang helpline natin. Kung sakaling hindi na intindihan ni parent kung paano matutulungan sa activity, pwede pong magkaroon ng consultation sa teacher at saka sa guidance counselor. And yung isang helpline that I know na pinopromote din ng DOH ay yung sa National Center for Mental Health. Yung crisis hotline nila na 989-USAP. So, alam ko marami na rin tumatawag dito eh. Oo. Isa pang number nila ay 097-899-8727. Yun. So, 989
989 usap.
Yan. I think alam ng mga bata kung paano hanapin yung usap. Definitely yan.
Yeah.
Totoo.
Okay, so sa mga viewers, you can always call 989 usap.
So, hindi lang sa mga students, even parents,
Parents,
individuals,
yes.
you're experiencing or going through something and you want to talk to someone anonymous, I think it would be very, very helpful to talk to someone. So, don't forget about the 989
Usap.
USAP.
Okay, very helpful po yan.
Yes.
So, now, regarding financial assistance, thank you, Miss Venus. We'll get back to you later.
Thank you din. Yes,
We'll go
thank
to
you.
financial assistance. Ayan, dito na pumapasok ang mga budget or tulong na binibigay. So, dahil ito ay bago at kinakailangan ng teknolohiya or mga iPad, laptop, o whatever, internet, printer, ito ay may kaakibat na gastos. Karamihan ng tao ay nabawasan ng kita, marami din nawalan ng trabaho, parehong estudyante sa pampubliko at sa pribadong mga paaralan ang apektado. Alamin natin kung ano ang mga tulong na maaaring makuha ng mga magulang at estudyante. So, we'll be going to Miss Doris Ferrer to answer the question. Ano ang mga tulong na naibibigay or binibigay ng PEAC sa mga estudyante?
Siguro, no, tulad ng pinaliwanag ko kanina, kami ay nag-i-implement no, ng subsidy programs ng Department of Education at ng Commission on Higher Education din for college students. So ito ay pondo galing sa gobyerno, taxpayers' money, at ito ay binibigay sa mga estudyante in private schools na kailangan suportahan ng gobyerno kasi they opted to study in a private school but they need government support. Alam natin sa public, libre lahat yan. Pero kung ikaw ay qualified at dahil choice mo na ikaw ay nasa private school at kulang naman ang provision ng public, pwede kang bigyan ng suporta. Ito yung ESC, ito yung voucher program, ito yung tertiary education subsidy. Now, dito sa pandemic, nagkaroon ng very recently enacted na batas, yung Bayanihan 2, kung saan magbibigay din ang gobyerno ng suporta sa mga displaced personnel at magbibigay ng suporta sa mga learners affected no by the crisis, which means nung 1920 pwedeng may utang pa sila sa mga eskwelahan nila or kulang sila ng pambayad no ngayong 2020-21. So ginagawa pa yung implementing guidelines nitong Bayanihan 2 very recently kasi ito na naipasa, at kapag ito ay inimplement na, additional ito no na subsidy. Pero ang sinasabi nga natin talaga rito ay mahirap din kasi na umaasa sa ayuda na galing sa gobyerno. Kaya ang naging call ng PAC at COCOPEA at marami pang ibang private educational associations ay buksan na yung school year para makapag-enroll na yung mga magulang na merong funds no for enrollment at nang maumpisahan ang school year, magkaroon ng pampasweldo ng teachers, magkaroon ng ma-start no, school operations, mag-continue ang learning ng mga bata dahil ayaw naman natin na lahat ng mga teachers natin ay pipila para sa ayuda. So yun ang naging usapin no the last several months, and hopefully we will be able to be successful nga in navigating all of these changes. Ngayon, budget hearing na naman. So nag-uusap na naman tungkol sa budget, no? Alam niyo yan, for 2021. Pag nakakausap natin ng DepEd at CHED, lagi nilang sinasabi, hirap na hirap ang gobyerno ngayon sa pera, no? Kasi nga tax payment for taxes and the economy is not moving, so value-added tax, all of this, no? They're not able to collect. Kaya talagang we expect 2020-21 will be difficult. Even 21-22, we expect will still not be the same as how it was pre-COVID. No? Pero lagi nga nating sinasabi, all the learnings, we should put to heart para pagdating ng 22-23, 23-24, not thinking of all of these forthcoming school years, alam natin ang gagawin natin. Ang tingin kasi namin sa analysis natin ngayon, ang mga eskwelahan natin, hindi talaga mataas ang resilience at hindi rin sila talagang innovation-driven. Ang tagal na ng online distance learning, ang tagal na ng use of technology in the teaching-learning process. Pero ang bagal nating mag-adapt. Ngayon, para tayong pinuwersa. Right? So sabi namin, sana ang adoption ng technology, use of technology in the teaching-learning process is not because of a calamity or a crisis. Pero dahil gusto talaga nating mag-innovate, gusto nating totohanin yung sinasabi nating 21st century education. So siguro it's a bitter pill no na parang ngayon sige wala kayong choice kundi gamitin ang teknolohiya kasi noon hindi siguro siya nagiging priority kasi komportable tayo dun sa ginagawa nating in person at face to face, kahit na alam natin we cannot be really competitive if we do not use technology in the teaching-learning process.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Ferrer. So, tayo magtungo naman sa public school kay Mr. Gypsy Corpus.
Yep.
And let me add him. Yes, so Sir Gypsy,
Yes, ma'am.
sabi po sa sagot ni Ms. Ferrer, bukod sa pondo na ibinigay ng Department of Education, may ibang tulong pa po ba kayo na nakuha saan po ito ba nanggaling?
Kung pwede man pong i-discuss.
Kung i-discuss,
Opo.
kung hindi niyo po kayang i-name, okay lang din po.
Siguro since nakikita naman po ng ibang mga generous na let's say donors yung situations ng public educational system natin ngayon, yung iba po very ano naman sila, very voluntarily sila na po yung nagre-reach out sa mga schools. Sila na po yung nagbibigay ng kung ano man yung kaya nilang i-extend para doon sa eskwelahan. And then yung iba kasi may magandang tie-up sa community. So, naging stakeholders talaga nila yung community. And then some organizations na nakita rin yung mga kailangan pang i-provide sa ibang mga eskwelahan. So, may mga private individuals, may mga private groups, meron din namang mga civic organizations na nag-extend ng help doon sa eskwelahan. And then, merong mga move kasi na parang katulad po dito sa division namin, if I'm not mistaken, siguro lahat ng mga schools, both in elementary and secondary, nagbigay sila ng per school ng 4 na cellphone units or tablet units. So para kahit papaano ma-incur yung gap na may mabigyan man lang. And then yung iba talagang nag-outsource sila, like teachers initiative also. So tinatap ng mga teachers yung mga dati nilang mga estudyante, yung mga pwede nilang itap, yung mga kakilala nila na alam nilang makakapag-provide or makakapag-sponsor. Pwedeng load sponsor, pwedeng gadget sponsor. So yung mga ganong program, talagang it all boils down to resourcefulness and how you're going to handle and how you're going to handle the adjustment period. Parang ganon. Talagang minamaximize ng teachers yung kanyang influence. Yeah.
So it will take time at siguro it will really also take time to roll out additional resources as
Tama po.
as yung gobyerno natin kumakalap pa rin ng mga pondo. So ngayon
Yeah, opo.
parang businesses, ibig sabihin walang nagbabayad ng tax.
I guess this is for a faith in humanity. So yung mga nakakaluwag-luwag ng mga establishments, organizations, I think hindi rin naman yan mga makakalimot, lalo na ngayong sinabi ni Sir Gypsy kanina, yung mga former students. So, even me, I'm still with my previous teachers and they would update us from time to time kung kailangan. So yun nga, sa mga fellow classmates, kung meron din naman kayo, reach out to your school, lalo na sa mga public schools.
Yes.
Give back.
Yes. And madami po sila. Madami sila kasi nung mga unang nag-outsource yung mga teachers when it comes to bond paper, ang daming naipon ng mga school. So meaning talagang there is no way to stop education. Kasi pinapakita nilang susuportahan nila in whatever means they can. Na parang this is a primary need. Parang kailangan natin lalo na sa panahon ngayon na ang hirap ng buhay pero nakukuha pa rin mag-extend ng kahit na anong tulong ng mga individuals or ng mga groups na yon doon sa mga schools.
Yes.
Thank you po.
And with that, we want to go to Miss Arlene Velasco dahil siya rin po ay isa sa mga nasa field na teacher. Let's go to her. Okay. Miss Arlene, natanggap po ba ninyo ang mga pangangailangan na ipinangako ng DepEd? Kung hindi, paano nyo ito tinutugunan? So, nalaman natin na nag-roll out sila pero kulang. Alam mo yun, meron pa rin kulang. So, sa inyo pong opinion?
Sa amin naman po, maraming mga pangailangan naman na natugunan ng gobyerno o ng Department of Education, pero hindi lahat, hindi sapat. So, sa tulong ng local government at ng mga school heads, mga stakeholders, napunuan namin yung kakulangan. Nag-produce kami ng mga modules, mga worksheet na kinakailangan pa namin ibigay para sa opening ng classes. So, dahil dyan, nag-produce kami, nag-xerox kami, naggawa kami ng sarili naming mga kopya. Although, sabi naman ng Department of Education, darating. Kaya lang, syempre, baka mahang yung mga kulang. Hindi sila mabigyan for the coming uh, school days ngayong Monday. So, nag-advance na kami, nagbigay na kami ng tulong na galing sa mga stakeholders, nag-produce kami. Nagbigay sila ng ink, ng bond paper para magkaroon kami ng kopya yung mga batang hindi nabigyan.
Opo. Ma'am, curious lang po ako, no, if you don't
Yes po.
mind. During the situation po, before mag-start sa Monday, medyo nagalaw niyo po ba yung personal money niyo in order to help your students?
Yes, kasi kung wala kang maipo-produce, hindi handa, paano
Alam ko hindi po
bukas?
kayo titigil hangga't hindi kumpleto or may kulang eh.
Opo,
Alam ko
tama
nangyari
po.
na din po sa inyo yan, ma'am, pero can you share like briefly lang po, ano na po yung mga ganong sitwasyon
Yung
na
personal
naranasan
yung
niyo?
nailabas.
Opo, totoo po yun. Nag-produce na kami ng sarili naming mga bond papers para lang kami makapag-produce ng mga kailangan namin. Although dadating talaga, kaya lang syempre natatakot kami kailan dadating. Syempre ayaw naman namin mahang yung mga pangailangan ng mga bata namin.
Okay po. So maraming salamat po kay
Ulit,
Sir
Miss
Gypsy, Miss
Arlene.
Ferrer,
Yes.
and Miss Arlene. So lastly, eto na, magtungo na tayo sa ating segment na effect on families or epekto sa mga pamilya dahil sa pasanin sa pag-aaral sa bahay. So we would like to call on a mother of two.
A working from home
Yes.
mom, and at the moment is a single parent kasi working abroad ang kanyang husband. So,
Yes.
siya lahat. And meron siyang dalawang anak. I think isang high school at isang elementary. Yes, grade school.
So nag-aaral sila ngayon sa isang private school. Nauna silang nag-start. So we would like to welcome Jenny Ramos. Hi Jenny.
Hello.
Kamusta?
Hello. Okay lang.
Welcome
Very
to-
educational. It's so really nice to hear the side of the education. Yeah.
Okay. So, Jenny, would you like to share your experience bilang isang magulang at ina na nag-iisa sa
Mhm.
bahay? I think OFW ang inyong asawa.
Yes. Yung husband ko is currently on board and wala na akong house help. And I also work and I have 2 children at home with me. One is grade 8 and grade 3.
Yes. Okay. So, mag-isa lang siya, naggagabay. All around, nagtatrabaho, nasa bahay, at may nag-aaral na mga anak. So, paano ba ang experience nung nagsimula na nung nag-aral na sila?
Okay, kasi tomorrow is Monday, no? It's another school day. So officially, it's our 31st day of distance learning. We started August 24. And so far, nakasurvive for a month. Hindi siya perfect.
Yes.
And hindi ko rin masasabi na walang issues. Meron. But at the same time, it's also a learning process. Maraming lessons learned for my kids and for me as a parent.
Yes.
So, I'll take it back around April to June. Ito na yung preparation time ko eh. There was so much news. What's the government's plan for the upcoming school year? And ano ba yung kailangan i-expect as a parent? What do I need to prepare to ensure that my kids will continue schooling? And during this months, April to June, wala pang announcement from the school because they are waiting from the directive from the Department of Education, I must say. Pero at the same time, because I'm working on a corporate setting, I already had assumed that the school was already planning. Because imposible na they have to wait from the DepEd before they start acting. Because the schools are also businesses eh. So syempre they were already planning, although wala pa silang official statement that they need to release to the public. So during this time, April to June, I was already thinking of options. Option 1 is we'll continue with the current school if merong magandang online program. Option 2, I'll transfer to another school or mag-homeschool ako. And option 3 was we will do modular. All of this, I have to consider na yung current setup namin that I work, and then also, hindi sila talaga pwedeng mag face-to-face. Hindi sila babalik sa traditional classroom setup. And because I have 2 kids, syempre the expense is also times 2. So I had to be wise in spending and be resourceful para
Yes.
hindi naman masyadong malaki yung impact financially. So during this month yet na wala pang announcement yung school, I already started checking out mga online promos for computers, study table, computer chair. Yan, in terms of the gadget, medyo nakabawas ako kasi my grade 8 daughter already has a laptop from last
Okay.
year pa. And then the grade 3 naman yung wala pa during that time. And also, dahil working from home ako, I also have to consider tama pa ba yung subscription ko with my internet service provider because I'm gonna be sharing it with the kids.
Yes.
And logistically, nag-adjust din kami sa bahay. My kids or my daughters used to have separate bedrooms. Now, in-involve ko sila dun sa process ng pag-iisip and to decide what they think will work for them. Do they want to share a bedroom and convert the other bedroom into a study room? And eventually they decided that they wanted to share the bedroom and then the ate's room will be converted into a study room. So, paunti-unti, I started preparing. I bought study tables, computer chairs. There. And then the computers, I was able to set up. Yeah.
Marami ring nagaganap na pag-change sa hindi lang sa modality ng pag-aaral, pati sa setting ng bahay.
Ay, nakakatuwa
Correct.
na i-involve mo sila on ways that they would know they will prosper.
Yes, and
lalo na sa
comfortable
ngayon.
sila sa learning modality na gagamitin.
Yes, because my kids are already grade 8 and grade 3. I think I'm sending this message to them. Na other parents can also do this. Na it's not just me who's going to do this. It's gonna be all of us, the 3 of us. So I need to know what your inputs are because kumbaga sila yung primary stakeholder of the online schooling. So I'm just here to support whatever you need, but in the everyday setup, sila talaga yung mag-aaral.
Okay.
So nung I think end of June or early July, nag-announce na yung school of their online learning program. So what I really liked about the school is ito muna, I had to allot a specific time to attend the online orientation because I wanted to hear out what was the school's online program before we decided to enroll. So far, I was really satisfied with the program. And what I really liked, dun pa lang sa step number 1 for me na parent and school orientation, na-address nila lahat ng concerns, probable questions from our parents. Number 1, what is their distance learning program?
Okay.
What learning software will be they using? Technical requirements for each grade level, kasi I have 2. What's the tuition fee, school fees, and all the financial aspects of it, the grading system, what the daily schedule would look like. For me, as a working parent, I need to have visibility on that. When they did the online orientation, hindi pa siya ganun ka-specific, but they gave us what would it look like.
Yeah.
And then the school calendar, they also mentioned that on the orientation. So when I got all the information that I needed, we decided that we're going to continue with the same private school and then enroll the kids on the online program. Yun.
Okay.
So I guess it would just be knowing your options and then decide whether ano yung option na pwede sa iyo financially,
Yes.
sa everyday living style niyo as a family.
Meron
Yan.
akong tanong.
Mhm.
Hindi ka ba na-sway na since yun na nga, ang modality na gagamitin at magbabayad ako ng this particular amount, why don't I just go to the public school?
And maybe
It will be free. I can still manage all
expenses.
expenses.
Yeah. What I said a while ago is you make a decision based on the financial resources and kung ano yung everyday lifestyle ng family. So on my part, thank goodness, wala namang nawalan ng work during this pandemic and I am an education graduate and I work from home. So I think the online learning program is very well suited for us, the family. But of course, in the event that hindi talaga pa pwede, like let's say I need to go physically to the office,
Yep.
then I was already opening my mind back April to June. Now the modular is something that I can take as a possibility, and
Okay.
I was very vocal about it to my children because I
Mhm.
want to prepare them. I don't want to shock them one day. This is the decision. Again, I want to involve them in the whole process.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Curious lang ako diyan 'no, as a parent ng dalawa na
Mm.
nag-o-online learning or nagdi-distance learning at the moment, ano yung mga pinaka-down moments na na-experience mo lately?
Kunyari
Okay.
nagvo-voice out ang anak mo,
Oo.
siguro nabanggit din niya na may chat groups
Oo, from
na
Uh,
we had your interview,
yes.
you shared
yes.
na they expressed
Yeah.
frustrations kahit yung grade 8 na.
Oo. Yes, isi-skip out ko na yung part ng internet connectivity, no? Kasi, but I just wanna mention, that's the number
Pero
one.
in general naman.
Yes, that's the number one challenge talaga, when
Mhm.
there's slow connection, there's no connection at all. Again, I'm very vocal with my kids. What I tell them that is that this is something that we cannot control. What we
Yeah.
can control is how we are going to react to it. When there's a slow
Mhm.
connection, what will you do? If there's no
Mhm.
internet, masistress ka ba? Iiyak ka ba? Maiinis ka ba because you cannot attend the online class?
Yeah.
Um, what we control is how we are going to react. So my kids are already adjusting to that. Very chill na lang if the
Mhm.
internet is slow, and pag nawala ng internet, they would just usually connect with their teachers once the connection is up, and they would also do chatting with their classmates to catch up on the
Mhm.
discussions that they have missed.
Mhm.
And yung grade 8 ko naman, since high school na to, merong mga group chats.
Mhm.
So, very open ang relationship namin ng aking teenager. So, I have visibility on her social media accounts. I have
Wow.
visibility on her group chats.
Mhm.
It's an agreement between myself and my daughter.
Buti na lang. Yeah.
Yeah, that's our setup. And I would really find some conversations na nasistress yung iba niyang classmates
Mhm.
because maybe there's no family support, mabagal yung internet. So I would always encourage my teenager, you have to inspire them, encourage them that this is just temporary. If they need any help, I'm open. I can help the other kids on the school, and
Mhm.
also I'm encouraging my grade 8 to help out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ito last but not the least naman, Jen. Any
Mm-mm.
tips lalo na dun sa mga I think on the private sector medyo nakapag-adjust naman na siguro.
Mm-mm.
Any tips dun sa mga public schools, students, parents and
Parents
guardians
and
na
guardians.
magsisimula pa lang? Like in general, online man o modular or
Mm-hmm.
by paper sila. Any tips that you can give to them para naman
We
mabawasan
can
kahit
uplift.
papaano, oo.
Oo.
Yung
Yes,
ano
of
ng mga
course.
burden, pag-aalala.
Oo. Um, Siguro, let's change the perspective. Kasi before, very sanay the parents that, they send the kids to school, tapos
Mhm.
uuwi na lang. And then, we check kung mataas ang grade, ganon. But now, it's a partnership between the parents and the school.
Yes.
Mm.
I can, siguro with the Filipino setting, it's not just the parents, but entirely the household. Kasi
Mhm.
meron tayong mga families na they live with their extended family members,
Yes.
they have the grandparents as the guardians. So the household and the school needs to work together in
Okay.
order for the kids to adjust to the distance learning and for it to be effective. And I think what the schools and the education sector is saying that we reach out to the school kung meron talagang issues. It
Mhm.
has to be respectful communication between the parent household and the school. Again, I also want to share that no one is completely prepared talaga to
Mhm.
shift to the distance learning. Not the school, and not also the parents, but it is what it is. It's already here. And as a parent, siguro ayokong mag-join dun sa chaos that my children might feel, that
Mhm.
this is so confusing, Google Suite is so difficult to use, or the internet is crappy. I want to be kumbaga the light for them na, hey, don't be stressed out. This is what we need to do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. I would acknowledge the emotional stress siguro, pero I have to direct them on a way that they will be able to adjust and be productive. Yun. Tapos for working parents like me, nag-online, maglilinis, magluluto, ano pa ba,
Sabay-sabay.
Oo.
yes, mamaya
Namamalengke.
mamaya magpa-plancha. So, talagang we can only do so much in one day. Plan, prioritize, time management. And like me, I have grade 8 and grade 3. I already start involving them with the household chores na age appropriate.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Mm-mm.
So, napakagandang encouragement yan sa ating mga mommies at mga
Yes.
estudyante na magsisimula bukas. Salamat sa iyo, Jenny. At saka, ito,
Balikan ka namin mamaya para sa
wrap
outro.
out.
Oo.
Okay. Sure.
Alright. So, now, this has been a very meaningful discussion this afternoon. So clearly, the Philippines, particularly the Department of Education, has a lot of work to do to be able to keep up with this new normal. Because it seems that COVID-19 will be here for quite a while. I hope not. Pero until there's a vaccine, we will still be in this new normal setup with all the problems and issues that seems to be insurmountable. I would like to throw this question to all of our speakers. How do we move forward? What's the effective way to implement the change that we want, and how do we keep the hope going? Kasi meron at meron pa rin na mawawala ng pag-asa at meron pa rin makaka-feel na hindi enough.
Yes, totoo yan. At
Ayun.
lagi kong naaalala, shout out pala sa aking teacher na si Ma'am Silpedes. Hindi ko makakalimutan yung sinabi niya sa akin. Tinanong niya ako paglaki mo, anong gusto mong kuning kurso or anong gusto mong maging? Sabi ko, teacher ma'am, kasi natutuwa ako sa inyo kung paano kayo magturo. Sabi niya, wag kang magti-teacher. Kung hindi ganun kalaki yung, kumbaga kung hindi,
Ang unawa.
hindi I forgot the term, pero sabi niya, wag kang mag-teacher kasi mahirap, magastos. Sabi ko, ba't magastos, ma'am? Sabi niya sa akin, kasi minsan or madalas,
Ikaw
yung sarili niyang pera,
ginagamit
gagamitin niya para mapabuti or mapaganda yung presentation niya sa school. So, lagi kong naaalala yun na sinabi niya sa akin. And I think, at the moment, nandoon pa rin yung mga ganong situation na yung mga public schools teachers natin and even private, they would use their own money, time, and resources para ma-improve yung education ng mga bata kasi ganun kalaki yung pagmamahal nila sa mga students.
Okay. So now, we'll ask Miss Doris Ferrer for this last question to address our viewers.
Oh, and makapag-shoutout na rin po,
Makapag-shoutout na
ma'am.
tayo at makapag-wrap up and conclude. So we're adding her to the screen. Yes. So, Miss Ferrer,
Last na po.
yes. How do we move forward, and how do we keep the hope going?
Okay, how do we keep the hope going? We just have to realize that these are our children, right? These are our children. So, when parents complain na bakit parang kami na ang magtuturo, bakit ang dami namin responsibilities, Jenny is so right. All this time, it had always been a homeschool partnership. Probably the home at that time was not just as responsive, leaving the responsibility to the school most of the time. But why do we complain if we have to be more active in the role of teaching our children when that's really what parenting is all about? So to me, that is a non-issue that the parent should be so involved, in teaching and parenting their children, because that's precisely their reason for being as parents. Okay, second, what keeps the hope going? These are our learners, and second, our schools will have to ensure that their mindset is one that is innovation driven. See, it's not because of a catastrophe or a disaster that they start thinking about how to innovate, how to be resilient, how to be, how to ensure that they can navigate disruption, because that should be already part of their DNA. See, it's not just COVID that we're talking about. all, any other crisis situation which a school will have to be confronted with, and as one that always has, that this kind of a mindset and part of its DNA, then it should always be able to cope. So those are two things, so for the parents and for the schools, and then for teachers. Again, if you're not so concerned about the learning of your students and about the formation of your students, then you're not in, you know, you should be in another, you know, you
Easy
should
to focus.
you should do one other thing, no other than teaching. Because this is a mission, this is a vocation. You're talking about lives, you're talking about future, so it's not a simple task.
Okay.
And it is not about 1530 salaries or just, it's not simple, really.
Any
So,
shoutouts po, ma'am,
To
na
your friends,
oh,
family.
that could be
oh
watching?
yeah, I was so, I so resonated with Jenny because you probably know that I have 6 children and I was so active with when they were schooling, and I still have one first year college right now, who just graduated, finished grade 12, a K to 12 graduate, and she's into online learning, and to me, it's it really, I just like take I have a lot of confidence because over time I've seen how the study habits have so developed that
Mhm.
the motivation is so intrinsic. It's not even coming from me anymore. So I think if that is the kind that the children that we will have, then we have prepared them, okay, for the future, and for the time when the parents and the teachers are not there, right,
Mhm.
behind, looking at their backs, and behind their shoulder, and always telling them to do this and that, because that will make our parenting and teaching really meaningful, because they can do things on their own even without us being there.
Okay po.
Thank you. And we will give the floor to Miss Neri Kura,
Malu,
to Miss
Nericura,
Malu.
yes.
Yeah, so how do we move forward and how do we keep the hope going?
Parang pa Miss Universe yung tanong nyo.
This is your time to shine, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I just really I just want to share one thing, no? And that word is adapt. Okay? I just like to impart some thoughts on how important it is for all of us to adapt. I totally agree with Jenny and Doris when it comes to the homeschool collaboration. My son is in grade 11 right now, and of course they have been used to the face-to-face interaction, and try to remove that kind of social interaction. Of course, it changed their lives dramatically. And as much as you would want to bring that back, you're after their safety and their security. And of course, as a mom, you feel for everyone. Like our household is like that right now. No, I wear an administrator's hat. I wear a parent's hat. I wear a daughter's hat. Like that. But the yeah, a lot of hats to wear. No, but at the end of the day, it's something that you love to do. That would be reflected to the kind of output that you do as well. And for us in the education field, and most especially also to the parents and to the students, this is high time. It's the best time for all of us to adapt. Similar to the story of a frog, no? There was this frog who was placed in a water, and the water was so comfortable for him, and he didn't realize that the water was starting to boil, and because he was so comfortable, miski nagbo-boil na yung water, hindi niya napansin na umiinit. And slowly but surely he was being eaten up with the boiling water, and because he got so weak already, he failed to leap out of the pot, and eventually the frog died. So in this situation, we are all compelled to really adapt, because the people who will fail to adapt, unfortunately, will not survive. This is already an evolving modality of learning. Whether we like it or not, that is the direction of education. And all the stakeholders in education would have to work together. You're talking of there has to be a very strong school and home collaboration, because teachers of any child is their parents and their families,
Parents.
Yes.
Yes.
right? So we all have a role to fulfill. For us teachers and administrators, we are the extension of your homes, but we will also guarantee you that we are part of the journey and the success of your children. Shout out to all our teachers who are watching right now. You are the true heroes. I mean, of course, we have our medical experts, no, the nurses, the doctors, everyone in the medical field, but also with this in navigating this uncharted territory. Um, I really salute all the teachers. Mabuhay po kayong lahat.
Thank you.
Thank you po, Ma'am Malu, Neri.
Maraming salamat.
Opo. Balikan naman din po natin. Ito, favorite ko na to si Sir Gypsy. Yan. Naalala ko din yung teacher ko nung high school. Hello po
Ayan
ulit,
po.
Sir Gypsy.
Hello po. Good afternoon po.
Yes. So, sir, how do we move forward
Yes
and
po.
how do we keep the hope going? Lalo na magsisimula na po bukas ang public schools.
And
Yes
any
po.
messages na rin po sa mga parents and guardians na nanonood ngayon?
Yes.
Yeah, first and foremost po, wag kayo to the parents and to the students, wag po kayong matakot sa school year na to. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to afraid about. Yung mga teachers po ay hindi niyo makakaaway. Yung mga school administrators ay hindi niyo po makakaaway. Lalong-lalo na po yung mga modules niyo ay hindi niyo makakaaway. So let us work collaboratively. So I yeah. I may summarize siguro for on the part of the teachers, of the parents, and of the students. On the part of the parents, if ganito po kami ka-open na or kagusto namin na ganito matuto yung mga anak ninyo, sana po ganun din kayo. So be more encouraging, be more accepting. And on the part of the teachers naman, on the part of the students and the teachers and the parents na rin po ulit. Siguro, let us always remember science teacher po kasi ko kaya i-quote ko na si Charles Darwin. Although hindi pa natin alam kung kay Charles Darwin talaga galing tong quote na to. Na it is not the strongest of the species that survives, but the most adapted to change. So let us adjust more. Let us adjust more, adjust ourselves more, our resources, our patience, our love for learning, and then everything else will follow siguro. And then for teachers naman, since Teachers Day naman po, I would like to greet all of my teacher friends na nagsabi ng magagandang messages sa akin ngayon na isa-isa ko pang tinitingnan. Ma'am Joni, thank you very much for making me part of this. Miss April and Miss Trish, thank you very much also. So, on the part of and my friend Yuri, thank you very much for that wonderful background. Thank you. For the part of the teachers naman po, let us always remember the reason why we put ourselves into this. Ay naniniwala po kasi ako na wala namang nag-teacher kasi na-aksidente lang silang mag-teacher or dahil wala na silang choice kaya sila nag-teacher. Teaching is not a badge everyone gets to wear. It is both an honor and a responsibility. Kaya good luck po sa ating lahat. Alam ko pong kayang-kaya natin yan. Think positive, walang aayaw. Good afternoon po.
Thank you po ulit, Sir Gypsy.
And now,
let's go back. Yan.
To Miss
Arlene
Arlene Velasco.
Hello
Hi,
po.
ma'am. Yun po, on how do we move forward and what's gonna be the other effective way? How do we keep on going? And yun po, any words and encouragement na rin po sa fellow teachers and especially sa mga parents po na nanonood today na magsisimula na yung bagong labanan nila bukas.
Simple lang, sasabihin ko, we need to be positive in all aspect and we need to spread positive vibes for our beloved students so we can motivate them and encourage them to enjoy the new normal setup that we have right now. Though the assurance of successful teaching learning process is not secure as of now, we will still make ways and change something as the process goes by just to make sure that we will end the school year successful and with quality. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Shout out po, ma'am. Meron po ba kayong mga gustong batiin?
Wala naman po, nahiya ko.
Sa mga teachers
Sa
sa
mga,
Laguna.
yung mga co-teachers, sila na po, ma'am.
Hindi sanay.
Okay. So now we'll get to
Thank you po ulit, Miss
Yes, thank you,
Arlene.
Miss Arlene. We'll go to Miss Venus
Ito na
Desagin.
yung pambato ng Apolonio Samson Elementary School at ng Serios Peña Senior High School. Miss Ben, how do we move forward,
And
especially sa
ngayon,
mental health,
yes.
and how do we keep on going?
Hope going.
Yes.
Sabi nga nila, no, mental health is as good as physical health. Okay,
Yes.
so hindi lang natin bibigyan ng pansin kung ano nangyayari sa katawan natin, kundi kung paano tumatakbo yung isip natin. Kasi kapag bumagsak ang isip natin, sasabay ang katawan. So, idadagdag pa rin yung spiritual health. Siguro yun yung makakatulong for us to be hopeful for the future. Hindi lang future natin na mga oldies, but yung mga youngsters natin na sila talaga ang makikita natin in the near future na magtataguyod ng bayan, ng ating mundo. So, gusto ko lang mag-shout out sa lahat ng mga taong doing their own part. Parents, kids na nag-aaral ng mabuti, and yung mga teachers, counselors, doing their mental health program, the DepEd, CHED, and our government, and especially sa inyo for doing this, no? Kasi napakahalagang topic nito at sa mga viewers ninyo na sumusuporta at nakikinig at nauunawaan kung ano yung gusto nating iparating.
Thank you so
Yun lang.
much.
Any shout out, Vince?
Ayun lang, sa lahat ng taong gumagawa ng sarili nilang parte para malagpasan tong pandemic. Yun lang gusto kong i-shout out.
Yun.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Vince. At
Thank
ito
you.
na ang ating star. Star ba, Jen? Yun, Jen. As a parent,
Yes.
and yes, as a parent and a working mom na rin, any words and encouragement na rin sa ating mga
On how do
fellow
we
parents and
keep the hope
guardians?
going, lalo na sa mga anak, mga
Oo.
students ngayon.
Yes. We have no choice but to keep moving forward. We just need to take it one day at a time. And as parents, we need to equip and empower our children so that they could do the distance learning by themselves eventually. It's not you have to be beside all the time because that's impossible. You have other things to do. You also need to sleep and rest. So, paunti-unti siguro, you provide support and then teach them kung ano ba yung kailangan nilang gamitin, how to turn on the computer, maybe as simple as that for the younger kids. And then eventually wean off. Kailangan din nilang matuto. Yan. They need to feel equipped and empowered. Yan. I think that with that, I think that's the best strategy that I could share. Yeah. Yeah.
And any shout outs to your kids and to your husband?
Oh, yes.
Currently abroad.
Actually, yung kids ko nag-aabang na they're watching downstairs. So I want to say hello to Chloe and Kylie. And then also to my husband who's currently somewhere in the coast of Italy. Yep. And yes. And then, of course, to my closest friends, Ketty and Nate, and also to Abby. And my fellow mama friends who have also shared their insights on this topic too. If you think of as a parent na akala mo you're the only one encountering this, but if you have a healthy discussion about this topic, you'll find that it's very relatable and you're not the only one that's going through it. So from there, I hope you've learned something from me. Yeah.
Okay. With that, thank you so much, Jenny. And we will call on everyone at least to bid farewell. We can also say few words and, of course, do the conclusion. So, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being with Titas of the South. And we really appreciate the time that you have given today. So,
pasensya na po, humaba na po talaga ng ganito kahaba.
pero very meaningful po yung mga information and your opinion and experiences that you have shared.
Alam po namin na kulang pa ito. We don't have a public school parent at the moment kasi nga
wala pang feedback
we feel na wala pa sila masyadong insights on this particular topic. Pero hopefully, we can have a part 2 let's see, tignan natin kung ano yung
Feedback,
mga feedback
oo.
ng mga public school parents and maybe students that they can
Students.
share to us.
So thank you very much. It was a very meaningful discussion. Thank you, Miss Doris Ferrer, Miss Arlene Velasco, Miss Malu, Venus, and Sir Gypsy
And to
for
Miss
being with
and
us
to
today, and
Jen,
to Jen, of
yes.
course, the mom. So
Yeah.
Pia Ora po ulit here from New Zealand.
at magandang gabi na sa
Sa
Pilipinas. Ayan, maraming salamat po.
Thank you po.
Thank you. Bye.
So, thank you. Bye.
Have a great week.
Yun, oo nga po. Maraming salamat po ulit sa sumubaybay ngayong episode ng Titas of the South with our topic. So I would say, yung question talaga ng title namin kanina, pass or fail, for me, it's a pass. Learning should never fail kasi kahit pagano kailiit yung naituturo mo sa estudyante mo, ng parents sa kanilang mga anak, it should always show up dun sa mga anak nila eh. So para sa akin, this will be a pass kasi yung mga Filipino kahit dito abroad, nilulook up nila yung mga Filipino for being resilient kasi nga whatever situation we come
Nakaka-adapt
up
with a
happy
solution,
or
oo.
sad, laging nandiyan ang mga Pilipino na masayahin pa rin at the end of the day at gagawa sila ng paraan in order to survive.
Okay. Para sa akin, pass din dahil we have to move forward at walang room para i-discourage. Kailangan natin ngayon i-uplift at suportahan ang bawat isa, lalo-lalo na ang mga teachers na nagpapakahirap maghanda ng mga modules, nagdi-disseminate ng information. I think sila yung mga nagpupuyat ngayon para ma-maintain yung quality of education. So, salamat din sa ating gobyerno,
Oo.
sa Department of Education at sa PEAC.
Oo, at wag na lang din siguro tayong magreklamo, no?
We can be part of the solution.
Oo, kasi alam nating mahirap tong sitwasyon na pinagdadaanan natin ngayon. Wala pang nakaka-experience ng ganito. And sabi nga nung mga nurses natin from previous stream, this is a war against COVID. So, walang ibang magtutulungan kundi tayo lang.
Rin.
So, I wanna take this opportunity na rin to shout out, syempre, sa aking family na nanonood from Quezon City, my mom, my two nephews, Ja and Tay, and my sister, Mem and Pot, and my brother-in-law, Rigo. And a special shout out to my teachers who were watching, Ma'am Cynthia Makulangan and Ma'am Dita Sumera. They were my advisors and math teachers sa Serios Menya Senior High School. And my classmates na rin from Apolonio Samson and Serios Menya, na mga teachers din, no? Si Sir Christian Navora, Miss Giselle Adamero, si Kuya Ray. Hi ulit sa inyong lahat. And syempre, Tita April, any shout-outs?
My turn. So, hello to my mom who is watching today, my pamangkin January, and of course, I would like to say happy birthday to Tita Beth. So, she's also a teacher today, a teacher celebrating her birthday today.
Beth Banan.
Yes, Beth Banan. So, along with our friends Kulasas that are watching right now, they're very excited to see both of our
special thanks
teachers.
Talaga sa ating mga friends, especially in Tita April Pamkulasa, who are always helping us with our contents, checking our questions.
They're now called our producers.
Yes, and and giving us
Inputs,
information.
yes.
Oo, kasi
si Doc Marion
hindi nyo
at
lang
si
alam, guys.
Miss Stephanie Abzilius in the
naka-line
US.
up na yung mga live stream ng Tita up until November, if
Yes,
I'm not mistaken.
Puno po ang calendar namin ngayon.
Sa dami ng mga topics na i-discuss natin. And as you can see, ang aming brand new background. Yan.
Okay. So, going back again, thank you to Miss Angeline Saloso and Miss Bibay Jenver, to Miss Catherine Ayala, to Miss Jersey Ann, who has been really our avid fan.
Shout out din sa aking classmate na si Jerwin De La Cruz, watching all the way from Abu Dhabi.
Yes.
Say hi to our classmates there. And to Kagawad Vince Gawaran, nakalimutan kita last week pero say hi to our friends in the PUBG PS4 community.
Okay, so Yeah, thank you so much to those who have
This has
watched.
been
I
a
think
very,
we
very
at the peak
fruitful night.
we had 1,008
Seven.
700 or 800
Yes,
viewers tonight. So we would like to thank you once again.
for
And
giving us your time and listening, commenting, sa lahat po ng nagko-comment, words of encouragements and positive messages. Maraming maraming salamat from your Titas of the South.
again, if there will be any concerns, you can call the helpline. Let me just put it again for those who would be needing it. It's 989 USAP, coming from Miss Vence.
Yes. So that's in the Philippines, guys. I'm definitely sure iba para sa New Zealand and somewhere else.
In other countries.
Yes. So seek some help. Hindi po kayo nag-iisa. Hindi lang ikaw yung parents na naghihirap ngayon. Hindi lang ikaw yung estudyanteng na nahihirapan at mga magulang at mga guardian. And yun nga, let's be kind to one another. Let's
Yes,
help one
let's
another
be
in the
kind.
situation kasi wala tayong ibang aasahan kundi ang mga sarili natin. And again, this is your Tita Trish.
And it's me, Tita April.
This is your Titas of the South signing off. Bye!
Bye.
peraso, $15. So parang